Just started. Check it.
Jeez, well, let's go.
Get it started.
Yeah, the wife put my little snack plate together. See, boy, they don't understand, man. You know what it is to have a real wife. Yeah. Right. We're live. Yeah, that's what's up. Down here, the babe.
What you got? Something 44 is good.
You want 44?
Yeah. Unless you had some
Oh
already.
no, that's cool, because I'll just take the other one and put it to the back.
Well, how many is that? See how many 44 is.
44 is reasonable.
Okay. So
You know.
yours
Is the same. Let me see, because I was thinking 41, but I closed with that.
okay.
44, it's us, shoot. You know, man, it could be 60 verses.
How many is it?
It's 26,
Oh, that's a whole lot. Go with what you was going with.
41.
How many is that?
It's
How many?
boy, you crazy.
How many is the one here? 41.
Let's see, 41 is 13.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do 41.
Yeah, 44 tells
Yeah.
a whole lot
That's
more.
Deuteronomy 28 almost.
Shaking of the head,
Yeah.
amongst the people.
Yeah.
79 also is like 44.
Right.
But we live, baby.
Okay, let's get it. Oh, let's get it.
Yeah.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Shabbat shalom to everybody that's tuned in, listening to St. Louis family. Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, we 48.
And y'all, as we continue on through our week of unleavened bread, may you continue on with a peaceful unleavened bread feast.
That's right.
Till it ends. May the Most High have mercy on us that we're able to get all of the leavening out of our mind, heart, and soul,
That's right.
and really grab hold of the unblemished Lamb. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, family. We're going to get this opening prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, our uncrowned King, our Holy Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we know Him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 41st chapter, it reads, "Blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Most High will deliver him in time of trouble. Yahweh will not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. Yahweh will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing. Thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I said, Master, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. Mine enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die? And his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity. His heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. An evil disease, say they, cleaveth fast unto him. And now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted,
Yes, sir.
which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heels against me. But thou, O Yahweh, be merciful unto me,
That's right.
and raise me up, that I may requite them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because mine enemy doth not triumph over me. And as for me, thou upholdest me in mine integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. Blessed be the Most High Yah of Yisrael, from everlasting and to everlasting. Amen and amen.
Hallelujah! Selah!
Yes, sir, y'all.
We got some echo in here then, didn't we?
Yes, sir. That's what's up.
Shabbat shalom again, y'all, to the worldwide family and all that's listening in. Y'all, today's lesson is Jacob's first troubles. Y'all, we are in the time of the beginning of troubles. This pandemic does not appear to be slowing down at all.
Right.
It appears to be ramping up. They're digging mass graves now. They say a lot of it is for unclaimed individuals.
Right.
So relatives may find 2 years later that someone died of the coronavirus, but all they can say is they buried over there
Right.
somewhere
In that pie.
in that pile. So you won't be able to lay no flowers
Nah.
at that grave. Y'all, so as troubles are coming along, y'all, what we need to understand is what causes a lot of trouble. And we know these viruses are caused by sinning at a high level. You good as that? Okay, they're caused by sinning at a high level. So y'all, what we want to do is get into Jacob's first troubles, y'all. And we're going to start after he received a blessing from the Most High. Because this is the same as Sirach chapter 2. Be patient. You're going to be tried. Y'all, we getting a lot of videos sent to us, a lot of them. But if it leapfrog the Antichrist, then you have to not consider it as proof positive. I don't care how they seem to word it, but we have not had that individual hit planet Earth yet that will perform miracles equal to what the Messiah and the disciples was doing, all except resurrection. So y'all, we want to get some things a little clear today. We're going to deal with our patriarch Jacob because his last will and testament mentioned in Genesis 49th chapter is also mentioned in the variety book of Jasher 54th through 56th chapter. He did the same thing, y'all. So we want to just get a little bit of understanding about our patriarch Jacob. Hold on one second. This probably Nat Turner. You at the door? All right. Yeah. Zeb gonna get it. So y'all, what we want to do is get some understanding today of what actually took place in Jacob's life. And y'all, what we always want to do is something we want to continue to try to bring forth. Y'all, it holds down debates. It holds down multiple questions. And what we're talking about is the understanding of how the Most High deals with every individual on earth. He said, all souls are mine.
That's right.
That means male, female, free, and bond. He said, all souls are mine. So with that understanding, then everybody gets judged. So with everybody being judged, everybody should be on point, married or not. Because tomorrow's not promised to you. If your spouse died, you are on the hook. You're on the hook if your spouse is still alive. You know, but you can participate with providing scriptures for your better half, you know, to the point that they may find salvation. But y'all, this thing is male, female, free and bond, because Adam did not take on the punishment that was required for Eve. Adam got his, Eve got hers,
That's right.
and Satan got his.
That's right.
So and that's how the Most High rolled. Everybody involved with a situation is male, female, free and bond. If you hear somebody try to break down scriptures and they're not including all four sides of that law, then they have offended that law and they guilty of the other three sides. That's all that what it means. If it say if you offend in one part of the law, you offend in all. If you offend in male, female, free or bond when you are breaking off a particular subject concerning a law, if you offend in one, if you just point the finger at female and you leave male, free and bond still on the table, you still in error because you left a part out. Now we understand that, you know, we may say shalom that term. We may say some things like, you know, like the beard law. Does that include female? Only if they try to wear a beard. Because a woman should not wear that pertaining to a man. Now, it's one thing she got a little peach fuzz under the chin, little peach fuzz across the lip, you know, women have that time to time. But I'm talking about if a woman sitting up there like Rick Ross and got her hair flipped up and dude up, that's gonna be a problem.
Looking like a coconut?
Boy. Yeah. So y'all, we gonna get right to it, y'all. We gonna get right to the heart of the matter. And I just want to read the male and female free and bond, because y'all have to understand when we got sent into captivity, where there are only males on the ship, was there female?
Yeah.
Was there free and bond? Was there rich and poor on the slave ship? Was rich excluded from Deuteronomy 28 on them slave ships?
Oh, no.
Or was it some kings on there? So y'all, we want to get it understood. Every soul, or like we say, every tub must sit on his own bottom. So just quick hitters, Galatians 3:28. Give me Ezekiel 14 and 14. And we just want to get those witnesses so you understand clearly what the Most High is saying. When it comes down to his law, because we got a topic out there called word etymology, where Negroes will try to trick you up with a word versus the law concerning that word. They'll put that word etymology in front of law. Well, in the Hebrew tongue, it means this. Well, the Hebrew tongue still has to go back to a law, because there's a subject matter that's going on. Every word usually have a minimum of 2 definitions. So the subject matter will dictate which one of those 2 definitions of a single word that its meaning, or which one should be used in that context. But if they point it out to you, point a script, and then go into word etymology, the Hebrew word for it is this, mean this, that, and the other, and they told you to, because the subject matter says this, then they cheating y'all. Watch out. We in the last times, y'all, and itchy ear doctrine is running rampant.
That's right.
So give me those 2, yeah, real quick.
We're in the book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 28. It reads, "There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free.
Right.
There is neither male nor female.
Right.
For ye all one in Christ Yeshua."
So that's good. So y'all, that's all we're saying. And y'all read the rest of Paul's law. And what he's talking about, ain't nobody exempt from the law. Nobody on earth get a pass. Because you know you're an Israelite, that gives you no pass to break the law. And we ought to know that for being here in captivity.
That's right.
So give me that Ezekiel 14 and 14, and then jump to verse 20.
Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14. Though these 3 men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls.
They should deliver but what?
Their own souls by their righteousness, saith the Lord God.
Okay.
Jump down to 20.
Yes, sir.
Verse 20. Though Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it,
Right.
as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter. They shall but deliver their own souls by their righteousness.
By their what?
Righteousness.
So we see again, y'all, that it's up to the individual. Now, if an individual has a large household and he's the light for that household, he delivers the light. But delivering does not mean you can deliver their soul, or we'll be doing that for all our children, because you know, you done been to funerals where a boy bad his whole life, and but the mama still love him the same, don't you? My boy ain't that bad.
Right.
So they would deliver him even in that time. So y'all, we gonna get right to it. Not gonna ad-lib as much. Y'all believe that?
Yeah.
Okay. Genesis chapter 27, y'all. And what we're doing is looking at the beginning of Jacob's first troubles. Before we get into Jacob's trouble that's coming, we need to know what our patriarch faced within his lifetime, because what he saw and Abraham saw down the line for us. Remember, Abraham was woke up out of a terrible vision. And he said, I see my offspring. They're going into captivity. Now, he just got the vision that we was going to rule planet Earth. That everything, a new covenant between the Most High and Abraham's offspring is going to rule planet Earth. And then he get a terrible nightmare, y'all. Woke him up out of his sleep of seeing us getting loaded on slave ships. So we need to understand that fully before we can explain Jacob's troubles that's coming. Let's get it. So we write in Genesis 27. Let's start about verse 6. And y'all, we're going to see a few things within Jacob's life. We're going to see some problems Jacob had concerning, his time with Laban. And how if you try to do any form of trickery, it's going to come back on you. You can definitely reap what you sow. Let's get it. Genesis chapter 27.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 6.
Yes, sir.
Let's get some understanding, family. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Most High, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats.
2 good kids of what?
Of the goats. And I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth.
So her father wanted venison, which is technically deer, right?
Right.
But Rebecca got some spices here that could make goat meat taste almost the same, because they're technically in the same family line of clean, split hoof and chew at the cud, so to speak.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 10. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death.
Before his what?
Before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
See, so Esau knows what's up front, just like, y'all, this thing is getting so critical, and y'all, the worst thing we can have is disrespect a person. This gonna send a lot of people down the wrong path. So right here, Jacob knew my brother hairy as hell. If he didn't have no clothes on, you'd think he was the Yeti. I'm talking about he be covered up. So he know off the top the plan you saying ain't gonna work off the top because of a difference. So like manner, when you hear Negroes talking crazy, like I'm the holy comforter, and you got type 2 diabetes.
Ooh.
Stop it.
Actually, you don't have it no more.
No, he's cured of that.
Right. So, but I'm just saying, from that perspective of anybody claiming they are a supernatural being with a disease.
Right.
You ever read Satan and the demons ever have diseases, or do they cause the diseases? Let's read some more.
Verse 12. My father peradventure will feel me.
What he gonna do?
Will feel me.
And he's looking for that hair that grows off of them on their arms, because they grow hairy, y'all. Y'all done seen them, they pull a shirt off, you be like, is that a sweater you got on too? Under your t-shirt?
So he
Read some more.
So he gonna Ray Charles.
Right. After Ray Charles. Go ahead.
And I shall seem to him as a deceiver.
What shall he seem to him?
As a deceiver.
So he full well know what the deal is. As full well as when you know a Negro claiming he's something more than he ought to be. You know that. Now you can trust and believe a lie all you want. Go ahead.
And I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing.
So you see what he knows, because he's writing his own ticket here. What I'm talking about gonna bring a curse on me.
Right.
It's gonna be a plague, and that's what curses are. They plagues, they go from one generation to the next. They alter your natural form of living, so to speak. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
See, now she's saying, son, just listen to me. At this point, could he have turned his mama down? Yeah, he could have turned her down, because what if the same thing was, I need you to put a blade in Isaac's neck? He's talking about blessing Esau. We can't have that. You in line, kill him. He got more than a curse upon it. So we see here that Jacob is in full well understanding of what he's finna do. It's just like somebody have you in a grocery store and say, hold this packet. When I flag you, come on. What do you think that means while you standing there with that packet?
That's all he paid for.
Right. Yeah, right. You'll be saying that riding in the back of that police car.
Right.
Trying to convince them. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, and were with her and were with her in the house, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son.
So she took his best gown, his starter jacket,
Right.
for the field. And y'all notice too that she said, get a goat. Goat has fine hair. She didn't tell him to go get a sheep what has woolly hair. She had to have the same type of hair that was on Esau, smooth, silky, coarse hair. So we can hold that and y'all understand the rest of the story. I just want to get up to the point that where Laban, all the troubles for Jacob, Jacob's first troubles come from. Y'all have to understand this. Laban just didn't do him wrong. This was the Most High showing us under no circumstances. When I tell you, like I told your mama, the elder should serve the younger when y'all was born. I told you that. But you don't want to hear. Don't want to hear, just like Sarah didn't want to hear. You're going to have a child this old. She laughed. He said, okay, you got problems coming. Y'all, when a message come from on high, the Most High ain't got time to be negotiating with you, to whether you believe it or not. It's supernatural. When an angel is standing there in front of you, you know what this is. Let's skip down. I want to just skip down to verse 21.
Verse 21.
And y'all, all throughout there, Jacob is still saying something, because Isaac asked him, how you get the deer so quick? Boy, you hunt, cut it, season it up, and got it cooked in that short a time. Not only this, but Jacob is going one step further. Start at verse 20.
Okay. Verse 20.
But this saying Genesis 27.
And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Most High thy power brought it to me.
See, he's in full-fledged with the plan now to trick Esau. Birthrights done already been taken, you know, so to speak. And he didn't technically take, he just caught Esau tripping hungry. And told him, no, you give up that birthright, you can eat all of this. You know, he's stirring the lentil soup. When Esau come, he said, man, I'm about to die. Give me some. No, my brother, you got to get your own. Or you got to give up that birthright.
Right.
He didn't have to go through any of that, y'all. Neither do we have to be concerned about the Antichrist coming. Fear for what? Just read some more.
Verse 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice.
What is the voice?
Jacob's voice.
Right?
But the hands are the hands of Esau.
Wow.
And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy.
Because his hands were what?
Were hairy.
So y'all, that's what I'm talking about. You know how some people had them gloves with the fingers just cut off, but they had the other part covering their hands and the palm. This the way his hands were, so hairy across the top and behind the neck, you know, and there's no disrespect to anybody. It's just identifying character here. It says Jacob was a smooth man, dwelling in tents.
Right.
You know, he had a beard, but technically when you're talking about a hairy individual, I'm talking about they look like they have on a sweater jumpsuit. Let's read some more.
His hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed
So
him.
he did what?
He blessed
So
him.
y'all, we see he blessed him through trickery, and we see that also how the Most High get down is he was not able to reverse the blessing.
Right.
He told Esau when he came in weeping and crying, I can't reverse a blessing. You know what the rules are. I can't reverse it. He's going to be, jump down to verse 37.
Verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
So we'll see that he gives Esau the blessing of all the earth's wealth. That's why they pretty much all control everything that's running, all of the natural resources and all of everything basically you need to survive, so to speak, for your general parts of life, like oil. Or you can make tires from oil. You make petroleum for oil. You make a lot of things from oil. Plastic, gasoline, everything from oil. So he had charge of that in the world like he do today. So y'all, I just wanted to get the initial point of what's causing Jacob's trouble. You know, his first troubles. And behind this stunt that Jake and his mama pulled, Esau was pretty fired up, and he was on the move to kill Jacob. And y'all have to understand, this same hatred for this event back here is still out today. Y'all have to understand where the beginning of this hatred came from. Esau ain't just started hating us because we built Black Wall Street. You understand what I'm saying? Esau ain't just started that because we got a few white women and had our way with them. No, that ain't when it started. This goes all the way back to here. Let's get into this 28th chapter. Because Jacob had to flee. His mama had to send him away. Esau had put out the word, I'm killing him. I'm putting him down. You know, he up to no good. I'm putting him down. So what I want to do is get in just into the point, and then we're going to get into the meat of this subject of Jacob's first trouble. I'm just going to get into the heart of it when he finally, Rebecca told him, go to my brother's house, Laban and Haran. You need to go there, just stay there for a while till Esau calms down. You know, so we'll pick this up in Genesis 28, and we'll start about verse 10. And we're going to get into Jacob's life while he's on the run, because what you're seeing is Jacob's trouble the same way we are. He's in a position where he's bound basically by somebody that's on his heels because of a covenant he made, an illegal covenant he made with his mother. So the hounds of Baskerville is chasing him now. Go ahead, 28 and 10.
The book of Genesis, chapter 28 and verse 10. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Yah ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Most High stood above it, and said, I am the Most High Yah of Abraham thy father, and the Elohim of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed.
And to thy what?
To thy seed.
Does that mean male, female, free or bond?
Yeah, it's a
It
seed.
said seed. It didn't say male seed only.
Right.
And we see here that Jacob is dreaming a dream, so he watched a portal open up in heaven. And he saw angels coming down to deliver messages and going back up to the Father. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 14. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth.
Shall be as the what?
As the dust of the earth.
Oh.
And thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south.
Right.
And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
So we were going to be like dust in the earth. Shalom, bro.
Hey, Shabbat
Get some
Shalom,
of
man.
that. So what we're talking about when you're talking about the dust of the earth, y'all, look, he is saying we're going to be everywhere. You're not going to get rid of Israel, y'all, and dust is everywhere. Look, if we say dirt, nobody's just going to have a clump of dirt in their house unless they just dirty people.
Right.
But dust is going to be everywhere.
All over the place.
Look, you can have your house clean as you want to. But you give a hardwood floor a couple days, dust is going to be on it.
Yes, sir.
So just like dust, we will be all over the earth. Everywhere. You won't be able to get rid of us. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places.
In all what?
In all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of.
So there's no need to be running and fleeing. You see how everything is getting into the troubles of Jacob is the same as the troubles we speaking of in the last day. He said, look, the promise is y'all gonna be on the four corners of the earth. So where do the brothers run from the corner that everybody else is trying to run to? Huh?
Right.
It makes no sense to where they gonna run to.
Right.
If the fleet doctrine mean for them, what they gonna do? We gonna switch places? You run over to Africa, the Africans run over here, and they hide here?
Yeah.
Don't make sense,
Don't
though.
make sense.
Let's get some more.
Verse 16. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Most High is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of Yah.
Right?
And this is the gate of heaven.
See, and they saying it's a gate, and gates are always portal type of openings, y'all. Like when they show the gateway to the west, what's the first thing they show?
The arch.
They show the arch, y'all, because what they're doing, they're marking pillars that where a portal will open up or things was established or what they say in a supernatural intervention. So almost all of these landmarks are portals. A lot of times you see the only thing that's left of an ancient, like you say, a Colosseum, an ancient Capitol building is just the archway. It's the only thing left standing. It was founded on it, just like where the Pentagon sits today. Everybody done been through all of the Illuminati talk and the videos that where you see where the Pentagon sits. It's on 33 degrees latitude and 33 degrees longitude. So it was put in a specific location, so to speak. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 18. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it.
Right.
And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first.
So now we got Jacob taking that same pillow that he slept on as a pillow for that night, and he set up as a pillow or a marking spot to mark where that portal opened that I talked to God at. This portal opened right here, so I got to make a pillow. Now you got some people out here that's teaching the end of that crystal worship and all of that, come up with strange doctrine that this was a carbuncle. A carbuncle is a priceless stone. These stones are in jewelry stores. Now, if he just found this on the ground and then left it on the ground, he's not looking at this as, some priceless or something that would be on Aaron's breastplate or on the walls or the foundation of Jerusalem. It's just a rock and he marking the spot. He poured oil on it to make it holy. Right. But if that had been a carbuncle or a priceless jewel, it wouldn't have been laying there on the ground in the first place.
Right.
Y'all stop it when you just want to try to make something in the Bible. The devil and demons are in the Bible. What are we supposed to play with them?
Right.
Huh? Because crystals in the Bible, it's not one scripture in no writing of these Bibles tell you to play with crystals or worship crystals. No. The sun and the moon is in the Bible, but what does Deuteronomy 4:19 tell us? Don't be driven to do what? Worship. To worship them. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to worship them. You're going to put them under your pillow. You stick them in your rear end like what do you call them? A suppository, looking for healing power. It ain't there.
Ain't it supposed to energize them or something?
I don't know what it's supposed to do. But because they in the Bible don't mean you supposed to make up whatever you want to make up for your usage phone. Show in the Bible where it's being used and there's instructions with it.
Ain't gonna happen.
What you got, Tom?
But what did he do with it? He lit up the place. That means he prayed.
Yeah.
So with his prayer, with him going into the spiritual, opened the spiritual lamp.
Well, we with you on that. We're just talking about the mindset of one to take a stone and say it was a carbuncle. Where you reading that at? You ain't saw that in no right. You just making that up.
How the Bible misidentified?
Identified. He says a stone. There's nowhere in here of all the pillars said when the Mount of Configuration, Matthew 16 and going to Matthew 17, and Peter said, should we make 3 pillars? Not one of them was saying, yes, you should make 3 pillars. Make one a carbuncle, make one a harbuncle, and make one a marbuncle. No, he ain't said no such thing. He's like, no, partner, there the pillar is right there. The Messiah, that's the pillar. That's the foundation. That's the stone that them Israelites rejected. That's the pillar. That's the foundation right there. You ain't got to make nothing for nobody else. Where do we keep getting this crazy talk and keep chasing behind?
They got a cartoon that starts off with that. They call it Boondocks.
Boondocks.
He say, I am a stone that the builders refuse.
Yes, sir. So that's scriptural, but Boondock ain't it?
Right, yeah.
It's your house shop.
Right. It's the bride.
Yes, sir. Get a little bit more of this, y'all. We're going to move to the next script.
Chapter and verse.
You in Genesis 28.
Hey, it was a sister that called me and asked about attendance. She said she just wanted to make a contribution because of the situation. She wanted to make a contribution to the assembly. So she said, is it okay that she come and just...
Well, if anybody needs any assistance, y'all, the door is locked basically, but we in here. There's a number on the door for the church in here. We'll pick up the phone. We got the phone right here. If you need one of us to come out, just dial the number that's on the door.
I was going to just still sit at the door anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to do a whole lot of back and forth, but y'all, if you come down, the number's posted on the door.
All right.
Let's get it.
Verse 20.
What it say?
And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if Yah will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Most High be my Elohim.
Right.
And this stone, which I have set for a pillar, shall be Yah's house, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee.
See, so this is what we're talking about. He just marked it because he said prior up in the scriptures that this could be nothing but the house of God. Y'all, when portals open, this is what they're trying to do with that CERN machine. The same exact way, y'all, and it's linked up with that 5G because any homework you do, where was the internet created? In the CERN, in CERN, Switzerland. The internet was established there, and it's no coincidence that they're building that CERN machine on the same location that the internet was founded on. And all they've been seeing is dark matter. So if it's tied to 5G, it's coming out of there too. So y'all, a port has been set up, but that's a pillar marking that location. And you always wonder why those over there in India with that Shiva with them 10 arms, always having what do you call children that's born a little? We used to call them illiform back in the day. We know it was they're born with 10 arms, 3 legs, 2 heads, always happening in the same region of that CERN machine.
Wow.
So y'all, we just wanted to put that out and clear, and we're going to go through Jacob's trouble because the same thing are happening to us as Genesis 49 prophesied and said what was going to happen to us. We're going to get into this itchy ear doctrine. We're going to get into these things that's going to befall us, but they befell our father first. Jacob had trouble, and we'll have the same trouble if we start pulling trickery with the word of the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Where we at?
You know, 30,
We
Genesis
finished
30.
that. Yeah, let's get right to 30 and 1.
Alright, Genesis chapter 30, verse 1.
So, and what this is, I tell you what, do I have 29?
29 and 12.
That's where I need to go.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah.
Right, me too. I wrote it down and then went right by.
Alright, Genesis chapter 29, verse 12.
And this is after we're continuing on with Jacob fleeing to another part. And when he first met Rachel, his mother's brother's daughter. Let's get it.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 12. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father.
See, but the first thing what happens is, what gets a woman attention, just like Moses fought off them ones that was attacking Zipporah. And she was able to water the sheep and get the water. She like, boy, there's a scrapper here.
Right.
So no matter what you call when you see Moses was a meek man, Moses got busy. Y'all, meek don't mean, like we saying, every word have 2 definitions.
Right.
One of meek is just say a very patient man.
Right.
The other one say is a chump. Get picked on, just take abuse, flipping his hat off, got kick me signs on, stuck on his back. And he just saw the sign, that's why he kicked my rear end up to my shoulder blades. He didn't really mean, if they had done that, I ain't gonna do nothing to him. No, Moses was nothing of the sort. Because y'all remember what he did about that Egyptian. That he had to slay him and bury him in the sand. And you read about some more things Moses was doing in the book of Jasher after he left Egypt. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 13. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son,
right,
that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be?
So right here we got Jacob, and as we back up and we get into more scriptures, you're going to see that when Jacob first met Rachel, he like, this my wife, but I ain't got a quarter. You know why he didn't have no money? Because he was on the run from Esau. He said, I ain't got nothing. Y'all, and see, but this, at least you straight up with a woman's father. I ain't got no money, but I got hands and a strong back that loves to get busy in the field. Can I pay my way with that? It's the same thing David said when Saul, after he killed Goliath, and Saul told him, I'm gonna give you my daughter for your wife. He said, I'm a poor man. It wasn't poor like he didn't have no money, because he was a shepherd boy.
Right.
So they had little paper. He just was working a regular job, so to speak, his father's business, which don't pay that much because you're part of the father's household. You're building the business. So basically, poverty is basically what we're doing as we're building the business. You get your house, you get married, you get a little bit more. That's what, but it's still a poor man because it's just sheep herder work. Saul said, well, I tell you what, we're going to do some hiring here the same way Laban, y'all think about the same thing. He said, go give me 100 of them Philistine foreskins. How many did David bring back? 200. David worked overtime. So that lets a father know this Negro will go to work.
That's right.
Right.
So there's a difference from somebody showing up at somebody's father's house. Somebody's a girl named Rachel in there.
Hell no.
And your friend sitting in the car waiting on you. What you want with this girl named Rachel up in here? Yeah, I seen her at the store and I shot my shot at her, you know. I was just trying to let her know I'm about to get back up on my feet soon as this Jerry Curl and oil change business kick off.
I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Right. Right.
See if you can escape.
No, men I'll pay my way.
Click clack.
Cause Rachel is working at this point.
Right.
She getting water. She was a sheep herdess, as we gonna get into the book of Jasher. So she was working. Let's read some more. What it say?
Verse 16. And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel.
So at this time, Laban only had 2 children. Didn't have no sons. We're going to get into some Jasher. Going to open up some more of this story for you. It's going to get into detail. And then we're going to get into the book of Jubilees, and we're going to straighten out a wedding week versus a Jubilee week. That's used as trickery. We're going to clear that up today. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 17. Leah was tender-eyed.
Leah was what?
Tender-eyed. But Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
See, so beautiful and well-favored. It never said Leah was ugly, did it? It never says the besides ugly, does it, in Isaiah 53?
No.
It say he have no form of comeliness that we should desire. It just said he wasn't a pretty boy.
Right.
Nothing more, nothing less. People read that scripture and they got the Messiah looking like a gorilla sucking on lemons. And all it said, he didn't have no form. He wasn't built like the Hulk or Karl Malone or somebody 6'6", 6'7", scrapping, looking like Denzel and Billy D. Williams combined. No, it wasn't that. But it never said he was ugly, did it? Nor is it saying this right here. Let's read some more.
Verse 18.
What it say?
And Jacob loved Rachel.
What'd he do?
Loved Rachel.
And
said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
And understand this, Laban ain't talking about, so let me get this straight. You're going to move in with me and you're going to work for me while you handling my daughter too. The contract ain't been fulfilled. What if you get tired or lose your desire? You still on the hook.
Exactly.
No, but see, men didn't have waiting problems back then. And y'all, when we get into this book of Jasher, it's going to get into the age of Jacob when all this is going down. Some of us think he was 25, 35 years old, 45. When we get to the understanding of how old Jacob was when this was going down, he was past 70 years old. But our forefathers had no problem. Isaac was 40 when he finally met Rebekah, and didn't have his first child till he was 60 when Esau and Jacob was born. Y'all see that fire in your loins. These men was trained about that early on because they were trained. Fire in the loins caused the trouble in the garden.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 19.
What it say?
And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee,
Right.
than that I should give her to another man.
Right.
Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel.
Right.
And they seemed unto him but a few days.
Y'all see that 7 years seemed but a few days. Look, you can't, Boy, Negroes trying to get a woman out of her underwear in 7 minutes, let alone 7 days or 7 weeks. But 7 years you wait? You're talking about courting. And it says they sported, they courted. No intercourse.
Right.
Look, kiss here and there, because we see at the beginning when he first saw Rachel, he kissed her. When he found out it was his people, greeted her with a kiss. But no more than that. Wasn't no touchy-feelies, wasn't none of that. It was to the field to let this woman know how I will be working. This is what the play is going to be. And I can wait. Let's get some more.
Verse 21.
What it say?
And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said unto Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me?
See, now he's saying, you tricked me. Ain't that what he's saying? You deceived me.
Right.
But do you think in his mind he thought back, is this payback?
No.
Is this payback for what I did to my daddy? I worked for that. My daddy worked for his blessing and gave it to me through. Now I done worked 7 years and the work I put in was for naught. Let's read some more.
Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week.
Do what?
Fulfill her week. And we will give thee this also for the service which thou served me yet 7 of the year.
So right here it say fulfill her week. Who week is this talking about? Fulfill whose week?
Leah's.
Leah's week, because it's marriage. The honeymoon lasted 7 days. And here there's no restriction of whatever day it's on that you can get a honeymoon going. Because this is before the order of Aaron. Right? Ain't it?
Yeah.
So there's no priests around, so to speak. These are Melchizedek priests. Right here that Peter spoke of, a royal priesthood that Paul spoke of, the priests of Melchizedek. This is what status Jacob was in. So he understood this perfectly. Go ahead, read a little bit more.
Verse 28. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also.
Now, it's commonly thought that Jacob worked 14 more or 7 more years before he ever slept with Rachel. We're going to get into some understanding that that's virtually going to be impossible, because we're going to see a 12-year span of the whole time that he was with Laban when he said, give me my wives and children. Now, if he done 14 and 12 passed, we got a 2-year problem, don't we? Of him first getting with Rachel. But as we get into the more the lost books, the deal was, look, just give her week. We got Negroes out here with this word etymology again tomorrow. No, see, that meant like a year. A week was a year. So basically what you're saying is, love Leah for a week, for a year, and then we'll give you Rachel. What does it mean when you're saying that's not because they're fighting? Basically, y'all just get to the point, sex on the Sabbath. The bed is undefiled. Whoremongers and adulterers will be judged. Let's get that understood. So they are fighting against this chapter right here because the wedding feast is 7 days. The honeymoon is for 7 days, and it don't say save the Sabbath day. Can you get a Sabbath day out of 7 days? If the honeymoon was 7 days, is the Sabbath going to be in there?
Yeah.
Yes, it shall.
Is it any instructions in here to tell you, save the Sabbath day that you can honeymoon? Now you got Negroes that fight against this, but believe in crystals and hexagrams that ain't found in the Bible. Let's read some. With no instructions, nary instruction, but made by them and in the books of Wicca. books of the dead. So we see, but y'all, we gonna get this clear. So it's clear understanding that the 7 days were honeymoon days. Give me some Judges 14. And this is Samson saying the same thing. We're gonna hold that, we're coming back to that. I just want to get right to another issue of what we're talking about, the honeymoon feast. Y'all, and we always see, y'all, did y'all see it was a feast before they went to the bed chambers? It's the same thing in the book of Tobit. We see the same thing. Eleazar went and got Rachel. They feasted before they sent her on.
Let's see, now that's 27. Says, fulfill her week,
Yeah.
and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
See, that was the initial contract. I'll give you Rachel for 7 years. See, that's still on the table to work for 7 years, but because you technically already work for her and I trick you,
Right.
I'm gonna give you her, but you still owe me 7 more years because we don't get an elder before the younger. But you got to give her, you can't just throw her away one and done with Leah.
Right.
Leah gets 6 more days.
Right.
You owe her 6 more days. At least do that, then we're all obliged by the contract. Y'all, and as we get into this story, you gonna see what Jacob is saying. Your daddy done tricked me 10 times. So we gonna see the trickeration in here that doubled up on him for what he did to his father Isaac, him and his mom. Same situation is involved here.
Wow.
Where we at? But we gonna get that clear, brother. That's gonna get clear because a lot of people say, no, it looks like, no, it say he worked another 7 years before he got. But we gonna have a problem with additions of Jacob's age when this come up and when Laban confronted him.
Right.
You know, there's a difference in what Jacob was doing before year 20. Before year 14. Let's read some more. We gonna get to it.
Judges chapter 14, verse 1.
What it say? Hold on, let me see. I want to get right to the feet. Okay, let's go verse 12.
Verse 12.
Okay, I tell you what. Let's turn the corner. Yeah, let's just read verse 1 through 3, and then we're gonna jump down to 12.
Okay.
Y'all read the whole thing in your own time, y'all, so you get the subject matter. And y'all, what we're talking about, we're gonna see which way word etymology work on these 7 days. Does it mean a year or does it mean 7 literal days?
Exactly.
Let's get it.
Judges chapter 14, verse 1. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife.
See, now look here. Are we supposed to, is this after Deuteronomy 7 and 6?
Why you asking?
When you should have no marriages with them, right? So what is it, Samson talking about her, the deliverer? Talking about getting with a Philistine? A woman that I saw in Timnath? Boy, she pleases me well. Get some up.
Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
Now this next verse is going to have a lot of problems for Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Let's read verse 4.
But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord.
That it was what?
Of the Lord.
This marriage to a Philistine, an uncircumcised Philistine, this of the Lord? Is our Lord contradicting his instructions to Moses, or does this fall into the law of the war? Because we at war right here. If the men are dead, you see a woman, y'all, these are things we have to answer so you complete on all of the law. If you condemn a man for being with a woman of another race and you ain't at least covered these 4 sides of these events happening, then you offend in the whole law of marriage because you're not understanding this. This thing it says from the Lord. Now, is this the Bible been tampered with here in Judges or what?
No.
Let's read some more. We go, no, you can hold that, finish and read that verse 4 again.
But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord,
Right?
that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel.
Who they have dominion over?
Over Israel.
Now, see, the same thing it says when you're at war, but they'll say, well, at this point, the law on captivity say, you know, when you at war, you can't be captive to nobody. That don't mean when you in captivity. Well, what did this verse just say? It said they had dominion over, who had dominion?
Philistines had dominion.
The Philistines had dominion, so who's in captivity?
Israel.
So what's happening is Samson marrying outside the race in captivity? See, that's all we're talking about. So if a brother or sister happen to get involved with somebody outside of Israel, y'all at least run the law, the four corners on them to see before you make a judgment and just start pointing fingers at them and have them going home wondering if they finna divorce their woman and got 5 children, maybe babies that they trying to feed, and you giving them instructions to break up their household. And ain't run none of these scriptures. Just keep hitting them with Deuteronomy 7:6. Make no marriages with them. We got problem if you just run that verse to them. You're leaving it's 4 sides, north, east, west, and south. You're leaving east, west, and south out in this map. Let's read some more.
Verse 12.
We skipping down to verse 12, y'all. Y'all read all in between. Go ahead.
And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then will I give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. But if ye cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle that we may hear.
So right here, y'all, once again, but I wanted y'all to go back to verse 6. Verse 6 saying, what happened to Samson right here?
And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him.
Right.
And he rent him as he would have rent a kid.
So right here we got the Holy Spirit with Samson after a marriage to an uncircumcised Philistine. What's the Spirit doing, overpowering Samson to kill a lion? Huh? Do the Spirit come on you for doing unrighteousness?
Nope.
So y'all, we understand that the thing is from the Lord here, but this is the deal. We got to get a man in on the inside.
The Romans put that in there.
The Romans put that in here in the Old Testament, yeah. So I just wanted to hit that back and get back down to, so the Philistines was trying to trick Samson up. So he said, I'm gonna put forth a riddle to you. I'm gonna let you hear a riddle, but we're gonna see something here. Go ahead, read some more. Read that.
Verse 14. And he said unto them, Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness.
Right.
And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle.
Right.
And it came to pass on the 7th day.
On the what day?
On the 7th day.
The 7th day. Okay, go ahead.
That they said unto Samson's wife, Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, Thou doest but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it thee? And she wept before him.
What she do?
She wept.
See, that weeping is what gets you. See that weeping? See, when they weeping, that means it's gonna be some ailments. Go on, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. Go on, I told you to move. You like, dang. See, that weeping. Now you ready to be compassionate.
You do that real good.
Boy, them Willis Reed sharp elbows in the wee hours. Come on, get some more of that, bro.
Verse 17.
And
she wept before him the 7 days.
The how many days?
The 7 days.
So was this 1 year she weeping, or is this 7 days?
7 days, 1 week.
Let's read some more.
while their feast lasted.
While their what?
Feast lasted.
Where y'all reading in these scriptures that a feast lasts a whole year for a wedding?
Same language.
Huh? They say a man don't go to war for a whole year to cheer up his wife for a whole year. That's the only thing in the law that even comes close to anything. But the bottom line is saying we can't have a young widow that early. At least if you go to war, you in the army, you done put in a good year worth of work, you ought to have an offspring within a year of some good work. But this is talking about 7 days.
Right.
Read some more.
And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him, and she told the riddle to the children of her people.
We can hold that, but what I wanted to expound on was 7-day feast day, that every time she's weeping, they in the chambers. And it said on the 7th day, she's weeping the same way with Delilah. Samson laying his head on her lap in the chamber. Every time the men come up in, did they bust in the bedroom or what did they bust in there at? Samson, they're upon us. He gonna defend the bed chambers, ain't he?
That's right.
So in other words, one of them 7 days had to be the Sabbath.
One of them had to be the Sabbath.
Has to be.
And see, and notice what them Philistines was doing. This is always the play. It's the same play that's happening out here in the streets now. You better be careful with these young tenders, because they set men up. Get them in the chambers. And while they naked and sleep after 2 or 20 minutes, then they open the back door for the killers to come in. Same way, y'all. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yep.
Just hold that and let's get back to that Genesis. Where was we at in that Genesis? 29 or 30 we was in? 30?
29.
29.
Still in 29, yeah. 29 and 30.
Okay.
Well, hold on, wait.
We was right at
28.
28 was at the
29
wedding.
and 28.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week.
And what did he do?
Fulfilled her week.
Uh-huh.
And he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also.
Right. Also, go ahead.
And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
See, so now the father gives gifts to the daughters as a wedding gift from the parents. That don't belong to Jacob.
Right.
That belonged to his daughter Leah. I'm giving you one of my handmaids to assist you. She's not Jacob's concubine. He can't be just having his way with her. She belongs to Leah. Scratches her head out while it's ailing her. Like what the one woman said in Color Purple, when Whoopi was scratching her head out. That's what she do. Run a bath water for her. That's what she does. But she's not to be property of Jacob. That came with her father, gave to her. It belongs to her. Let's read some more. Just like Hagar belonged to Sarah, given to her by Pharaoh. It was his handmaid. He had never touched her. He said, you take her as your handmaid. Abraham had no rights to her. Let's read some more.
Verse 30.
Come on, brother.
And he went in also unto Rachel. He loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years.
Okay, so right there you think that he done served 14 straight now. He's getting Rachel. I mean, it appears to be that way, but as we're going to get into some more understanding of the book of Genesis, because Genesis, all 66 books, are a summary of all the lost books. So they're hitting in spaces of time. But we're going to get into the lost books and we're going to get some clear understanding out of this book. And we're going to let the book speak for itself. We ain't going to make up stuff for the book.
Right.
Did we finish that?
Yeah.
Where you at on that?
30, wasn't it?
31.
31?
Let's talk about the Lord.
We can hold that. I want to get right to 31 and 1.
31.
You got 30 and 1.
30 and 1? Do I got 31? That's what I mean. 30 and 1. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I'm about to get way past.
Yeah.
Alright, Genesis chapter 30, verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children,
Right?
Rachel envied her sister.
Now y'all keep this in mind that if you thinking he worked another 7 years, this have to be after year 14, wouldn't it? That she bear him no children. If he hit her on year 4, and I don't want to use that word, if he consummated his marriage in year 14 because he worked another 7, then that's where this issue lie at. Did he have Rachel after the wedding week? And it's going to clear the week up as well. Because we're going to see some things that happen in between there. Go ahead.
And it said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, am I in Yahweh's stead?
Right.
Who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb?
So right here, Jacob said, you know, look, I'm not responsible.
Right. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I can't, I'm not the one that made you barren. So now Jacob really thinking, boy, I done worked for this woman 7 years, got tricked, I got her, now she can't have no chillings. And I love her, I really don't. Leah okay. And a lot of people, like you said, we'll talk about ugly because this start off as saying Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was well-favored and had spark. So that makes you think that they were like fraternal twins. You know, one may look like Whoopi Goldberg and the other one look like Halle Berry. No, it wasn't that. In the sense, Leah didn't look like that. When we get into Jasher and Jubilees, it's going to clear up what they look like. It was more like Beyonce and her sister, Solange, is that pronounced right? Or Solange?
Yeah.
That if you look at the eyes tell the difference between the two sisters. That if both of them was in the room, it would be the eyes that grab you. Because they both are built nice, you know, but it's the eyes that blink. It's the same thing that a man should not be caught up looking at the eyes that blink and flash with them lashes, or some woman born with long eyelashes, boy. The next thing you know, because the eyes is what do it. It's why Job had to make a covenant with his eyes. And it's how it always say the eyes trap a man. Look, the eyes look, the figure comes next. See, you may look her up and down, but if you look her in the eyes and the eyes say, yeah, you worthy, you can get it. That gives you the okay. You don't just say the body was banging and I just leaped on it. You a raper man. You're waiting on the look from the eyes to say it's okay. Confirmation from the eyes.
Yeah.
Ain't no better feeling.
Look, when if you out somewhere with your woman and Rico Suave walk by, that part of his lip turned up like Leon when he be smiling, you know, when he had that sexy look and smiling, you know, and your woman look back and smile. I seen the way you did what? Looked at that nigga.
You looked at him like
You looked at that nigga like y'all know each other. It better be from kindergarten, or it's about to be some trouble up in here. Boy, let's get some more of this.
Verse 3.
What it say?
And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah,
Right?
go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her.
See, so did he just take Bilhah, or was he given permission?
He was given permission.
He accepted the permission. He could have said, no, I'm through with this thing right now. But now as we get into this, and those who are using this to champion a cause for something else, we got a problem with this because the law say you are not to take sisters while both of them are alive. To vex them, to uncover their nakedness. One Negro hollering, oh, that meant you couldn't say to the other one, she cooked better than you. That was the vex. And Negro is say to uncover their nakedness. You can't be having your way with two sisters while both of them are still alive. You're going to cause problems for mama and dad. Whose side they going to take?
The one that's hurt the most.
Yeah, boy, come on. But both of them, they don't.
You did.
Let's read some more.
Verse 4. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife.
To what?
To wife.
See, it wasn't to just have your way with.
Right.
Responsibilities on the table. It's a wife now. Wife number 3.
Yep.
It's on the line. Let's read some more.
And Jacob went in, hold on. And Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son.
Right.
And Rachel said, Yahweh hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Daniel.
So y'all see a lot of times that when the Most High put a blessing on somebody and then somebody's barren, children can't be born. Just like Sarah. Couldn't bear no children. And Hagar around, he never even looked at her any kind of way. He's got all the paper. He ain't never looked at this. So these things, these burning desires below the navel didn't bother these men like that. They wasn't just seeking it out because it was like that ready available. It's like they didn't have the mindset of when you keep going in the refrigerator, your mama say the same thing was in there when you opened it the last 15 times. Close my refrigerator door. You ain't hungry, you just ate what you looking. Your eyes bigger than your what? Stomach. Read some more.
Walk around half naked now.
What you say, boy?
That's why they walk around half naked now.
Could be,
Keep our
bro.
eyes right there.
Right. You right, bro.
Verse 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son.
A second son. Go ahead.
And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali.
So she said, with great wrestling, I've been wrestling with my sister. I've been fighting with my sister since Jacob came to town. That heifer knew our daddy was tricking us. And she went along with the plan. So they've been at odds ever since, y'all. Y'all think about how this household is rocking. Look at that. Can't stand her. And Leah just looking like, well, look. He don't hate me on the other side of midnight because I got children. If we bag up in the verses, you'll see Leah already has children. Leah had 6 sons and a daughter. And so now Rachel finally said, well, it's been lifted off of me. Now, this has to be either if you believe that Jacob served another 7 years before he went in unto her, this would have to be, what we're reading would have to be after year 14, if you believe this.
Got a question.
Go ahead, what's the question?
Daniel G said, Brother Daniel,
Yeah.
I know this is weird, but I have a question. What if a brother, it's really his wife, and another brother fall for her?
What did he say?
Another brother fall for her. How is your wife in the
Well, what kind of, is it one of them, is it one of them crayon marriages? That's the only thing it could be.
Yeah, expound on that, Daniel. That's his name, Daniel G.
Daniel G, well, if a brother's loving your wife, he's not your brother. He's trying to cause your wife to commit adultery.
Yes, sir.
If he's hitting on her, he ain't your partner at all either.
Come on.
And you need to put a long handled spoon between you and her. I mean, him and you, all y'all.
But I don't know if this, but see, it sounds like it could be, he said, what if a brother, it's really his wife, and another, he might be the brother falling for somebody else's wife.
You better watch yourself.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
So
even if it's that, or if he's saying my partner, I got a partner, and his partner is lusting after his wife. Still the same thing because you're using the word wife.
It's off.
right,
It's
all
off
the way
limits
off.
to anybody else. See, but when you get into marriage where you just made up a contract and you just write on her, this right here,
Somebody could get hurt.
to
Yeah, with the quickness. But see, you know what, I kind of, well,
now, if they put that on that weeds together and you don't sign it, this ain't no marriage contract. It's weeds together. That's all it means. You ain't got no contract. So y'all, you have to take this in mind that when we're teaching from the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, where men, when they married a woman, they took her on as their protector. And they had paperwork to prove that it was their wife. They had something to prove that, no, this not my partner's gal that I snuck from him while he went to the restroom. This one belongs to me. And if anything happened to her, y'all got to come see me. Y'all don't have to call her mama. Y'all don't have to call her daddy. It's me. I got everything. The name is here. All you have to do is just come through me. But with these crayons, you can't do nothing nowhere. You think you can get in the room with the virus going on right now? And you ain't got no paperwork talking about that's my gal? Ask the landlord, ain't I been staying there? I hope that, unless he'll clear it up, but that's what the deal is. If that is the deal,
It don't matter. Yeah, Jacob.
now Jay got he talk about patience, but he definitely got that spirit of discernment, man. Sometimes you may figure it out about 2 weeks later, you like, damn, he was on that 2 weeks prior. He sure said it was gonna be just like that. Because patience will call you to give sometimes everybody an extended arm, so to speak, to express themselves, but that discerner of spirit is swift. Cut it off. Ain't no need to do it like Big Rough granddaddy used to say. If he seen a car, if he seen any TV show they was walking and animals was talking, he say, cut it off. Go read a book. Now I'm sitting here listening to a pig talk. That ain't gonna do no but drive you crazy. Cut it off. Go read a book. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, don't even entertain.
Verse 9.
What it say?
When Leah saw that she had left barren, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son.
Right.
And Leah said, a troop coming. And she called his name Gad.
Right.
And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son.
Right.
And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher.
So right here we got Leah now giving the handmaid that she was given. So they're in a wrestling war with this, you know. They're back and forth on this. I give you my handmaid, he get another son by her. Because when we get into this chapter, you're going to see at one point Leah became barren, and it says she left off barren. Meaning that she, at a time, she closed up. So that's when she said, I'm not out this fight yet. I give you my handmaid. Here, you take her to wife. Let's read some more. We're going down to verse 15.
Verse 14. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah.
Right.
Then Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also?
Now Leah has got in her mind that he's really her husband, but they had a ceremony and it can't be taken back. Just like Isaac couldn't take the blessing back from Jacob. Same thing here. He can't take the blessing back. There's nothing they can do about him marrying Leah. You know why? Because he consummated it. Who gonna want her now? Right. Plus she tender-eyed, and some of you say she looking like that. No, he can't take her back because the law say you can't take a virgin and then give her back under no circumstance. You on the hook for life. You're on the hook for life. Go ahead.
And Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. In verse 15.
Yeah, so we can see, as y'all go read that verse 16, because it's very important.
Verse 16. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening.
Where did he come out of?
Out of the field.
He wasn't standing on the corner nowhere. What was he coming out of?
The field.
What's in the field, y'all? Work. Let's not be fooled here. He went out there hollering at white folks standing on the corner doing working hours. When you come from the field, you're coming from work. And he was a shepherd boy. Let's get some more.
Verse 16 again. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. and he lay with her that night.
So, and then if y'all go, we're gonna hold it, y'all read the rest of it, and you'll see the children being more multiplied. He's putting in work, y'all. He got 4 wives, and y'all, the math is 13 children. Can you get 4 with 4 wives? Can you get 13 children inside of 7 years? Is that possible?
Yeah. 4 wives, 7 years, 13 children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it.
If you have
Yes,
one
you
a
can.
year with each, that's 28.
No, boy, your math is good. Boy, you was paying attention like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Tickled you hard, Tone. but so y'all, with that, now we're getting to the point because we want to get back to, did he have Rachel after 7 years and 1 week? Because they had to get Leah a week, or was it 14 years that passed before he was able to lay with Rachel? Right here we see a lot of activity going on, don't we? Okay, so let's just move it forward. Genesis 31:1, and then we're just gonna read that verse. We're gonna skip to verse 41 for time's sake. Want y'all to read the whole subject matter that we're speaking of. Read the whole subject matter.
Back in the book, well, never left this book. Genesis chapter 31 and verse 1.
What it say?
And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's hath he gotten all this glory.
So right here, I want y'all to stop, because when we started off, did Laban have any sons? Where these sons come from? But Jasher gonna explain it. It's in these writings too. When you get into it, you'll see that as Jacob is helping Laban, he's also blessing Laban at the same time. And Laban couldn't conceive. All he had was 2 daughters. And we get into Jasher, you're gonna see that Laban was a polygamist, but them wives couldn't have children. Y'all, when it's multiple like this, believe it, barren is gonna always be on the table. It has to make sure if you're going to be responsible for children, or do you just want a roll in the hay? How you building a nation off of who? The government? It must be something produced. If you taking all these wives, the nation need to see how it's manifest. What is it bringing forth other than women looking with their head down like this, flinching like a battered wife? You say something. Okay.
You seen that show they got on BT Ruthless?
Yeah. Is it on already?
Yeah, I fell
It's
asleep
on?
on one of them though. I fell
Okay.
asleep on the first episode though.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't too interesting. Yeah.
I mean,
So-
you can see what they doing.
You can see exactly what they're
You can see
doing,
what they trying to
y'all,
do.
with that compound living. And so far, we ain't seen no compound living in here. Nobody talking about living together. See, so y'all, when we get on the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that means you take this responsibility serious, because it is a responsibility. And you, every man that hasn't counted the cost for his household, Scripture says is a fool. Look, how you gonna have 10 babies and you got enough Pampers for one? If you go get another woman, she may have 3 or 4 babies. Now you got 12 babies and enough for one pamper for one. What you gonna do? Look, I told you 2 times. You piss one in that diaper, your sister gotta wear it.
Infidel.
You can't go to squalor
You are an infidel.
in this. Yes, it's legal, but you can't use squalor to justify. Can't put nobody. How you gonna go from a flushing toilet to sitting on a bucket?
But now what if they have these multiple wives and these children and are on public assistance?
That's what we talking about. You done build a house off of somebody else's table. That's the problem. That is the problem. You want to take over this nation with your fake doctrines. Don't care what you're using, sovereignty, or what you're using in the courthouse. You want to take over this man, but you ain't bound this man. So basically all you want to do is bind his thought process to let you have your kingdom in his kingdom.
While he's still running.
Produce your paperwork and get that nuclear suitcase from Donald Trump. Because I don't care what movie you read or you watch about America being taken over, they coming for that briefcase with them nuclear codes. You get that, then you run the world. You got the briefcase with the nuclear code? What you think these Negroes worried about you with some paperwork and you beating a traffic ticket? Negro, please, get out of here with that. Come after the nuclear codes, that briefcase. Then we know you mean business.
Out of his league.
Way out of his league. Let's skip down to, I just wanted to read that one.
You want to do it at 41?
And because I wanted to mention that Laban had sons, you know, because this is being set up for Jasher. Where did these sons come from? And how did they been there? So y'all read all of the rest of 31. We just gonna skip down that same 31 to verse 41. I want y'all to read all that in between.
The book of Genesis, chapter 31 and verse 41.
I tell you what, let's bag this up. Let's back this up to 31. And y'all, 31, what happened, Jacob finally got tired and loaded up his wife and children. Hold on, let me take a look. 1 second, y'all. And you see, they stole Laban's images. They stole his idols that he had, his daughter did. So he pursuing Jacob, especially after his sons told him, Jacob done left with his wives, and I think he's still on the hook. He still owe you some money, don't he? He done left with our sisters. So I just wanted to steal where it says that. Let's start about 31, y'all. I'm just bringing you up to speed on that. Start at verse 31 and 30. Then we'll skip down to 41 and we'll continue reading into that. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 31 and verse 30. It reads, And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods?
So this is Laban just basically chastising Jacob. He like, look, you've been after my household. I know what you've been up to. You got my daughters, you got some of my cattle, all the stuff you got with you now. You've been after me. You've been trying to take me down for the longest. And he's the trickster. So this is what Jacob at right now. He just Laban chastising. Look, you done run off because when you bag it up, you'll see that the daughters is saying, you taking, we are father's children. You can't just leave like that without him knowing. When y'all get into the story, but we just, for time's sake, we speeding it up. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 31. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid.
What was he?
I was afraid.
So is he scared of man after wrestling with an angel? Is he scared of man after seeing the Most High walking up down? He's scared for his family. Because Laban got money, he got power, he got men. And who's with Jacob? Right now, we know he got children, but how old are they?
Right.
Because in the whole, everybody knows it was 20 years, right? If 7 of those 20 years is missed, the oldest child could only be 14 years old. At the oldest, 14. That's the oldest child. That would be Reuben. He would be 14. If we talk about the whole 20 years Jacob was there. He's 14 at the time. And if you knock them 6 years off, how old is he then? 14 minus 6 is what?
8.
What?
8.
Boy, your math is sharp this morning. Let's have some unleavened bread this
Let's just
morning.
do whole numbers.
Okay. Boy, don't get into none of that.
Verse 31 from the top. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me.
See, by what he gonna take them?
By force.
See, because he's so low bolo here. And he know Esau looking for him, and this is what Laban was playing off of too. That's why Jake didn't have no money. He said, what's happening? He's like, well, when y'all get into that earlier chapter before he got to Rachel, he was like, Esau hot on my heels. I ain't got nothing. Every little piece of change I got, I done run out. I barely made it here. He said, I ain't got nothing. Pockets flat, but I know how to work. That's on my resume. See right there, will work for food or a wife. That's on my resume. Oh, let me see the fine print. We'll work hard as hell too and make your life more pleasant. That's on there too, on my resume. Now I wasn't coming around to some girl here named Rachel. Where we at?
Verse 32.
What it say?
With whomsoever thou findest thy God, let him not live.
Now you see what Jacob is saying. He like, if any one of my children or anything got your gods, them false idols, put them to death. Go ahead.
Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went into Jacob's tent.
Who tent he go in first?
Into Jacob's tent. And into Leah's tent.
And into whose tent?
Into Leah's
That's
tent.
two tents, ain't it?
Yep.
Go ahead.
And into the two maidservants' tents.
Tents, is that an S on there?
Yeah, that's true.
What do an extra S mean? Plural or singular?
That's plural.
So it look like so far everybody got their own house.
That seem like it.
That's what we say.
This is how a patriarch started off. Look, Isaac didn't bring, his mama's tent was available because she had died before Abraham brought Isaac back. She was dead, so there's an unoccupied tent. Naturally take, look, ain't no need you building, you got your mama's house. That wasn't Hagar, they wasn't sharing that with Hagar after Abraham took her to wife. She had her own house, Hagar did.
She wasn't on the other side of the tent.
No. She packed her tent up and left with Ishmael.
They didn't have a little separator in there.
No, they didn't have no separator.
Divided.
Boy, come on. Hell, you can hear what's going on in a hotel room with drywall. What you think you're gonna hear between a cloth? Who gonna be jealous?
Somebody.
Everybody.
I didn't hear none of that hollering like that did when you was in here, Jacob.
Right.
So I don't get to hollering licks?
You was all quiet with me.
Boy. Go ahead, bro.
Y'all crazy. I almost joined in. I'm like, you ain't gonna catch me up in there.
Hey,
Go ahead.
They could go deep.
Verse 33, continuation. But he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent.
So all of them got their own grid.
Yeah.
That's what it said.
It didn't say room.
Didn't say room. It didn't say Jacob had the massive tent. Y'all, another thing, when you look at what Reuben did, 1 Chronicles 35:1, I believe. Also 1 Corinthians 5:1. And you'll see in Genesis 49:1, Reuben went up into Jacob's couch. He went into Bilhah, his daddy's youngest wife, which was probably, a few years older than him. He went into her. You think he did that in Jacob's house in front of all his other 3 wives? And they was just sitting back. Yeah, Reuben been wanting her for a long time. Stop your ears up so you don't hear how he handling our daddy's wife. You think that was the deal? Man, come on. Some of this stuff is foolishness to believe it any other way so that you can let your loins work at will. Is it all for that?
There's some Christians that think that he was with his daddy.
Boy. Yes, sir. Because they don't understand
A
the law.
A seasoned deacon said that to me.
Boy, a seasoned deacon, because you don't know what the law means when you uncover one's
I
nakedness.
took him to the definition. He ain't talked to me about scripture since.
Same thing they believe about Ham and Noah the same way. Ham uncovered Noah, and then Canaan show up the very next verse. What do you think that calls about uncovered neck? Like most of them think that, like I said, he just peeping like this. Daddy could have left that Vienna sausage in the can. Daddy ain't got nothing. Shem and Japheth. So you think that's what the scriptures say?
Right.
Daddy rocking swimming pool shrinkage. Daddy.
It's cold in there.
Yeah, right. Let's get it, man. Where we at?
Verse 34.
Uh-huh.
Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not.
Right.
And she said to her father, let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the image.
Now look, she say, look, you can look everywhere, but I can't stand up. You can't check me, Daddy. It's that time for me. You can't pat me down. Believe me, he was patting them down looking for his gods. She said, no, Dad, you can't do none of that. And he found them not. Go ahead.
And Jacob was wroth and cold with Laban.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued after me?
Uh-huh.
Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff?
He was in his stuff.
He was
Right.
in his stuff.
Right.
Set it here.
Boy, y'all
before
think
my
it's,
presence.
now y'all think that look.
Get out my stuff.
Octone from Omaha got it from his father.
He's a true descendant.
Yeah, he's a true descendant when he talk about stuff. Every other word is stuff with Octone out of Omaha. But this word comes from his daddy, his granddaddy.
My wife still be counting that bitch as
Go ahead.
Verse 37. Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten.
Right.
That which was torn of beast I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night.
So we got an issue here with the word. I want y'all to see this 20 years because that was the total time he was with it, right? Mm-hmm. 20 total years. So, and we're getting back to the wedding week. If he had to wait another year, 14 years, then we got 13 children because they had 12 sons and 1 daughter in those last 6 years. Or unless Leah had her children in that 7 years, of that he was still waiting on Rachel. But the language would have to explain that, and put it in perspective of that. So we see the 20, but I just want y'all to see, no, that look like 20 right there, look like 10. But we're going to get into more scripture because we skipped some things for time's sake so we can get into the book of Jasher. But you'll see that in Genesis, he also tells him, he said, I've served you these 14 years. I served you 14, man. Look, the other 6 came, and look, when Laban was after him, the first time he was after him, Jacob came back. The Lord told him to go back. It said he had all his children and his wives. That's inside the 14. He went back and did 6 more. And then he had to leave again because Laban was tricking him again. No, you can't leave. You still owe me. Right. Laban was practicing sodomite behavior. And y'all, we know what a sodomite is. It's poor hospitality. It's trick hospitality. It's I'll be whatever you want me to be. Long as you doing something benefiting for me, I'll be that for you. So that's sodomite behavior. Sodomite wasn't just only man on man or woman on woman. It was poor hospitality. That's the main thing that the Most High wants us to do. Entertain strangers because they could be what? Angels unaware.
That's right.
So your hospitality had to be right. That don't mean you just let anybody in your door. Could you be an angel? Who is you? And he called, yeah, I'm an angel with a corona mask on. Yeah, the Bible said that. No, you can't be crazy like that. What's the word you have from the Most High on high? And you listening for the gospel, because it told us if an angel come and they don't preach this gospel, count them a curse. So you need to listen what they saying if they from the Most High, because they ain't gonna bring nothing crazy to you. Like these Negroes think that Gabriel came and told Joseph, man, the Lord ain't concerned about you. You took Mary before the public ceremony, man. Sometimes, you know, a man gets horny in time. The Lord know about that. Or did the angel come and we keep the conversation where it's at? She's pregnant and Jacob saying, I don't know how she did it. I didn't do it. Right. The angel didn't come to comfort him and say, it's okay that you jumped the wedding ceremony. Right. For the unblemished lamb, right. The conversation is about the conception. Yeah. She's pregnant. What are you there for? They're not discussing nothing. They're discussing. Joseph is saying, I don't know where the baby came from. It ain't me. If you leave it there and don't let them Negroes run you to Hebrews 2:15 and to that wisdom of Solomon, you can keep the conversation right there and it will go no further. But once you entertain that leavening and you jump to the way we were made, you in trouble. Yes, sir. Where we at?
Verse 40. Thus I was in the day of the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house.
Here you go, right here.
I served thee 14 years.
See that right there?
For thy two daughters.
What that verse 41? Read that again.
Thus have I been 20 years in thy house.
So he said, I've been around you 20 years, but let's see how much time he served. Go ahead.
I served thee 14 years for thy two daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times.
Boy, Laban a hustler to the maximum. You and he said, but you see the difference? I served you 14 years for my two wives, 6 years about that cattle situation we agreed on. So when y'all get back into the upper language, you will see that where Jacob was actually doing what's called spiritual cloning. He took some rods that the Most High told him to do, and he put them in a rod, and they say, everyone that's with a circle sprinkle, and these right here, these yours. But he was doubling them up with just sticking a rod in water. A rod, it was actually spiritual cloning. Just like they doing Dolly the sheep. Right. They have to do it in the laboratory though. Y'all get back into the language, you'll see Jacob putting that rod in the water and cloning sheep. This was happening. Laban looking like this nigga. He don't want them to leave now. Right. Just like the slave masters didn't want us to leave. And then he made a way for us to come back. Sell you your own land. And how do you end up working your own land and you owe him money? I mean, you taking crops that you get. How do you still end up? Well, look here, Willie. You bought shovels and rakes and
See?
them few potatoes you got here, that add up for the rake, but you still owe for this over here. You owe for the shovel, you still owe $50 on the mule.
Now, Johnny Ray already had them rakes.
Boy. Look here. So we see the trickery, the beginning of Jacob's trouble. When we go back to the beginning, y'all, we have to see the beginning to know what Jeremiah 30:9 is talking about. Jacob's trouble for us. We have to always start at the beginning. The Messiah is starting at the beginning with Sabbath days and with pure righteousness where there's no need for the law for a righteous man. Don't say the law don't exist or he's not a sinner. It's just the fact that he know what sins got him. There's minimum 613 laws, then you got statutes and judgments too. So it could be 1,000 laws or better. But all 1,000 don't apply to you. They apply, but they may not apply to you personally. The ones that will apply to you is the ones you look in the mirror and you say, damn, I done did it again. You ain't nothing. Your ugly self just can't stop sinning. You ought to do that. You ought to loathe in yourself than to point the finger at somebody else and say, you caused me to sin. Right. No, you caused you to sin. Where we at?
Verse 42.
What it say?
Except except the Elohim of my father, the power of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hadst sent me away now empty. Yah hath seen mine affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters.
You hear what he's saying? Nigga, I don't care nothing about that. They're my daughters.
And these children are my children. And these cattle are my cattle.
Boy, he said he done tricked me 10 times. He on the number 11 and 12. Ain't he? Right. Go ahead.
And all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee.
Now he's finna get him back in the covenant. Y'all see how this going all the way back to Esau Isaac and Jacob's covenant? It's coming back down to a covenant after all the trickery. Same thing, y'all. It's come full circle. Reaping what you sow has come full circle on Jacob because he didn't have to listen to his mother. When he said, you're going to bring a curse upon me, mama, the curse was Esau on his heels, Laban pulling knee stunts. For 20 years, y'all. See, we look at these things because we're in the microwave age. We'll look at this like this happened in 2 years or something. This is a 20-year ball that this thing is happening on, this man tricking you daily. But if you don't know nothing about going to work, 20 years to you may be like 2 days. Because you don't understand 20 years of labor. Hell, they say you can retire off of most jobs after 20 years, don't they? At least in the military.
Right.
Let's get some more from the field.
Okay, verse 45. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar.
Wonder was this carbuncle?
Right.
See, notice what happened. The covenant was made with Jacob prior when he saw. It's just a marking point, so we mark. Anybody say, no, we made a covenant. All y'all have to do is go over to the brook of Gichon, make 2 lefts, and turn right there at that olive tree and look 2 paces to your right. You'll see the pillar. It's a marking so that because we making this truth between me and you, we need to both agree and leave something there so both of us could vouch for the covenant that we made. But let's see what the covenant is. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 46. And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made an heap. And they did eat there upon the heap.
So you cooking on carbuncle?
Right.
You cooking on diamonds and rubies and emeralds? See, all that stuff just be added to the pot. And your head way in outer space. That's what it could be. Let me look up the Hebrew word pillar. It means God. That don't mean nothing. This is a rock on the ground. Just like any altar, you couldn't take hewn rocks. You couldn't do shaved rocks and make a pillar perfect like this. He said, I don't want that because you'll be saying that's my altar. See how well it is. You see over here, my mortar's in there. But if you look on the other side where that brother put his mortar, see all that mortar hanging out there? Lord don't want nothing like that. I don't even know why he let him get on the project. He said, take jagged rocks, what you find, and build me an altar. Not hewn by man's hand. It's just what the rocks will, and build me an altar. Let's get it. What it say?
Verse 47. And Laban, and they made the heap.
Right.
And Laban called it Jagar Shahadatha, but Jacob called it Gilead.
See, so now, just like when he called the place Bethel, it's the house of God, they named the spot so that for future reference, he says Jabal. Yeah, it's the same thing as Gilead. It's the same spot. I called it Gilead, he called it, but if you go there to this spot, that's where the marker's at for our covenant that we made. Go ahead, bro.
48. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Gilead.
See, so now Jacob rules over Laban and what it's called. Go ahead.
and Mishpah, for he said, the Most High watch between me and thee, when we are absent one from another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, Yah is witness betwixt me and thee.
So guess what the covenant was? You can't take nobody, you can't take no other daughter, you can't take nobody else to wife. And right here, you know, you can't never leave them either. Jacob took that covenant deal right there. I'm in on that. The covenant deal was you can't marry nobody else. Now he only had 12 sons and one daughter, and he got 4 wives. Ain't no 13, 15, 16, 17 son. How did Jacob stop that with 4 wives? What was possibly taking place that he wouldn't bear another based off of his covenant that he made with Laban? He had to do something, didn't he? Because all of them was having children in.
Yeah.
Let's get some more. What it say?
Verse 51. And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. The Elohim of Abraham and the Elohim of Nahor, the power of their father, judge betwixt us.
Yeah, still go.
And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mountain, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up, and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban departed and returned unto his place.
So we see the whole story as the Bible gives it, the summary of the lost books. Now we're going to get into just a few of these lost books, y'all. We're going to wrap it up here very shortly. So we clear up that was Rachel given to him after 14 years or 1 week after the 7th year that he was given to her as wife, and then but he just served 7 more years on top of that because the deal was already made. You know, we're going to get some clear understanding of that, y'all. And it just is not like it changes your whole doctrine. It just changes the thought process of what's being said here. You know, and it don't make you a sinner if you talk different. What it is, y'all, we going for clarity. And we making sure that nobody use these for their advantage. You know, you get you a bunch of silly women and you show them these scriptures and break them down real quick. Now right there, that's where patriarchs is. And never ever read the work. Never ever read him with his whole family and Esau coming after him. Never ever read the responsibility of this part. Just show them the multiple wife part. That's all you show them. You don't show them no responsibility scriptures. Of how Jacob is warned and Lord tells him, go back. Go back to Laban and see what the deal is. Go make this right. Don't you just leave like that. This man got some power. He'll come and he'll have you killed, take all your wife and children. Where you at this point? The covenant must go forth, Jacob. It ain't like Jacob was scared of Laban like that. He was scared for his household, so to speak. If I kill him, they're going to kill me. And I know what they're going to do to my offspring. Going to wipe me from the earth. Same way with David going back out there to fight Goliath's brother or cousin. And them blows wasn't the same because he was in full battle then. And David got weak and they thought he had killed David. No, David, you got to move out. You can't put the light out. We'll get that Gentile. We'll get that uncircumcised Philistine. We'll handle him. You just showed us how to handle him. So y'all, since we cleared that up, y'all, we get right into the book of Jasher. Y'all got it online, y'all. And Jasher usually line up with every chapter in Genesis. Usually they're one off, but we're going to start this in in Jasher, the 30th chapter. And then, y'all, we just going to get into the book of Jubilees and we're going to close out. And we may have to give homework on the testament of Issachar, because Issachar was the son from the mandrakes, from the higher. And he's going to go into his 2 chapters of telling his children on the last day, look, I witnessed my daddy and my mama and my sister mama go to war with each other. And that's how I came into birth. But you got these Negroes from these camps and these raggedy charts that say, look, that right here, Issachar, that means he's a Mexican selling oranges on the side of the road. What? That ain't the hire. That ain't talking about the hire. What do you mean that's what it's gonna be? Mexican selling oranges. Got nothing to do with it.
Oh, they always got good oranges, though.
Huh?
They always got the good oranges.
Yeah, they do, boy. Look, just get the oranges. And the coffee. Go ahead. Where we at?
Reading in the book of Jasher, in the 30th chapter. We'll be starting our reading in verse 1.
Start about verse 9. Y'all read it 1 through 9 for time's sake.
Start our reading in verse 9.
Yes, sir.
To get some understanding, family. And Jacob told Rachel that he was the son of Rebekah, her father's sister. And Rachel ran and told her father.
See, so we see this language is exactly the same. Ain't no difference. Go ahead.
And Jacob continued to cry because he had nothing with him to bring to the house of Laban.
You see how this man crying? He know the rules about taking care of a household. He like, boy, this woman is so fine, and I got to have her, and I ain't got no money. I ain't got nothing, and I can look at her and I can see the way she dressed. I can't come with empty pockets. No, she ain't a silly heifer.
She's a female.
Right. And also, y'all, anybody playing that word etymology on you talking about heifer is a disparaging word to women. Yeah, some Negroes call women heifers. Well, Samson told them in Judges 14, had y'all been not messing with my what? Plowing with my what?
Heifer.
With my heifer. Y'all have never found out the riddle. What is the red heifer in the Bible? Ain't that the most sacred cow on planet Earth? The red heifer. No, this ain't got nothing to do with your thought process trying to make it seem like somebody attacking somebody with words. Fool the rest of them. What'd it say?
Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And when Laban heard that his sister's son Jacob had come, he ran and kissed him and embraced him and brought him into the house and gave him bread, and he ate.
Right.
And Jacob related to Laban what his brother Esau had done to him, and what his son Eliphaz had done to him in the road.
So Jacob explaining why he ain't got no money. What happened? Esau been on my heels. He mad at me about that birthright. Laban probably thinking, nigga, well, you was up to no good. Okay. So he telling him, man, I basically run out of everything running from Esau. Go ahead. And his son Eliphaz.
Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob resided in Laban's house for 1 month.
How long?
1 month.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob ate and drank in the house of Laban. And afterward Laban said unto Jacob, tell me what shall be thy wages, for how canst thou serve me for naught? And Laban had no sons, but only daughters.
So we see the same thing, right, that we saw in Genesis. He had only daughters. Go ahead.
Did you hit verse 7, Daniel? I know you was talking about showing that Rachel was a shepherdess.
Yeah. Well, hit verse 7. Yeah, that's very good. Just back that verse 7 and jump back down.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Whilst he was yet speaking with them, Rachel, the daughter of Laban, came to feed her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess.
So that's what I wanted to hit too when I had mentioned that that was her job as a young woman. So she's a shepherdess. She's tending to the sheep for her father. You just can't show up with no flat pockets and you gonna take wealth out of the house? She's maintaining them. You just can't show up and remove wealth from the house and think they supposed to work for you and you ain't got nothing.
Right.
Not the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Read some more.
And Laban had no sons, but only daughters. And his other wives and handmaids were still barren in those days.
So Laban was a polygamist. His other wives, he only had 2 daughters, but he couldn't have no more children. And he had handmaids, so we know he had paper. But the difference is he had paper. Is that the difference?
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Paper!
It's definitely a difference.
No hobo Hebrew.
No. But he got barren 2 other wives that can't have children. So where he at? He just gets some extra on the side at this point. But they can't have children. Reproach on them. Let's read some more.
And these are the names of Laban's daughters, which his wife Adinah had borne unto him. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored, and Jacob loved her. And Jacob said unto Laban, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban consented to this. And Jacob served Laban 7 years for his daughter Rachel.
Right? So we on point. Go ahead.
And in the 2nd year of Jacob's dwelling in Haran, that is, in the 79th year of his life.
So right here in the 2nd year, so he must have been 78 if this is the 2nd year of the 7 years. Right? If he's 79 now. See, like most people think Jacob was a young man, 35, with this many wives. But Jacob was 78 when he come, because he's saying in the 2nd year, now he's 79. He 19, ain't he? At this point. Go ahead.
Let's see.
16.
16? You sure?
No, you back up there.
15. And in the 2nd year of Jacob's dwelling in Haran, that is, in the 79th year of the life of Jacob, in that year died Eber, the son of Shem. He was 464 years old at his death. And when Jacob heard that Eber was dead, he grieved exceedingly. And he lamented and mourned over him many days.
So right here, Jacob knows all the laws of the land, because he studied under Shem, who was Eber's daddy. Abraham studied in the house of Noah. So they got the Melchizedek order, the oral language, they got it down because they were in the houses of ancient Hebrew family members who survived from the other side of the flood, so to speak, the original boys, so to speak. And he studied under them, and whenever it died, that hurt Jacob. Hurt him bad, taught him a lot. Hurt him bad, he wept bitterly. But we're going to skip on down to verse 31. Y'all read all of it for time's sake. But I just wanted to get through this because I want to get into Jubilee.
You mean chapter 31?
No, same.
Verse 31.
Hold on. 31, you write 31 and 1. That's what I want. He on.
It's on me or you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's just reading my own writing, boy.
Jubilee chapter 31, verse 1. And in the 17th year,
7th.
and in the 7th year, Jacob's service which he served Laban was completed. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for the days of my service are fulfilled. And Laban did so. And Laban and Jacob assembled all the people of that place, and they made a feast.
There go this feast. Give me my wife, I done worked 7 years. It's time for the feast. So what's taking place before the sex?
Marriage ceremony.
Marriage ceremony with who? Who you getting a feast together for? Boy, come on. Let's read some more.
Verse 2. And in the evening, Laban came to the house. And afterward, Jacob came there with the people of the feast. And Laban extinguished all the lights that were there in the house. And Jacob said unto Laban, wherefore doest thou do this thing unto us? And Laban answered, such is our custom to act in this land.
So right here again, the marriage custom is different. Did Jacob say no? Deuteronomy 7:6 say I should make no covenant, no marriages like that with nobody else. Or I'm marrying y'all government. We don't have that where I come from. But he said, so this the custom of y'all land. This how y'all do it, y'all. Y'all do the feast, and we got prayer witness. But then y'all come to the marriage chamber, and y'all the ones that turn off the lights. Oh, okay, that's just the custom there. But when y'all get through turning off them lights, me and Rachel gonna be in here and y'all gonna be outside, right? They like, yeah, that's the deal, that's the deal. Let's read some more.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob said unto Laban, Wherefore doest thou do this thing unto us? And Laban answered, Such is our custom to act in this land.
The custom in this land is, because we in captivity and we suffering like this, is the government only gonna give you one marriage certificate. That's the custom in this land. Ain't got nothing to do with the government being in your business. How do you let the government in your business to give food stamps to your multiple women? If they ain't married to the government, that don't count. That contract with food stamp don't count as being marriage to the government.
That's another man in your house.
Boy,
Taking care of your woman.
doing what?
Taking care of your woman.
Boy, to pull these glasses off. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
What it say?
And afterward Laban took his daughter Leah, and he brought her to Jacob. And he came to her, and Jacob did not know that she was Leah.
So now we got him walking down the aisle because we start off in Genesis 1 on the Sabbath day that he brought Eve to Adam. You know, told her to be fruitful and multiply, but the father walked Eve to Adam. Just like this father, right, is bringing Leah. These Negroes with these quick ways don't know who the family members is. What you say your father's name is, they asking me here. What is your father's name? What you mean, what's my father's name? What's your mama's last name? How you don't know my mama's last name? What's my last name? Weber? Boy, that ain't my last name and we supposed to be married. It's Wilson. Oh, shit. Well, shit, I got you covered. Just say you Wahooba Wappa. The house of Wahooba Wappa. Hell with these heathens. They ain't running nothing in their own country. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5. And Laban gave his daughter Leah his maid Zilpah for an handmaid.
See who he keep giving it to? He's giving it to the daughters.
Yep.
It don't belong to the husband. That's not your property. Let's get it.
Verse 6. And all the people at the feast knew what Laban had done to Jacob, but they did not tell the thing to Jacob. And all the neighbors came that night to Jacob's house, and they ate and drank and rejoiced, and played before Leah upon, how you pronounce that?
Timbrels.
Timbrels, and with dances. And they responded before Jacob, Helah, Helah.
Hey, Leah.
Helah.
Hey, Leah. Is that Hey, Leah?
Hey, Leah.
Hey, Leah. Hey, Leah. And he thinking, why they keep calling her? What she just a bridesmaid. They keep calling her, they saying, hey Rachel, what's going on here? But he ain't thinking about, y'all can say whatever words y'all want. As long as y'all say, turn off the lights.
Like a candle.
So right here, we see what's happening right here. This is the reception. They dancing, you know, the first dance taking place. Everybody joining in. The same understanding that you have when you have a ceremony, whether it's 2 people or 200 people. This is what happens at those ceremonies. The problem is the men that's fighting against it ain't never partook in a ceremony. So they don't understand its significance. Neither do they understand what was the Messiah's first miracle at? A wedding. With all the guests and the governor.
Keep the party going.
Keep the party going. Let's read some more.
Verse 8. And Jacob heard their words, but did not understand their meaning. But he thought such might be their custom in this land. And the neighbors spoke these words before Jacob during the night, and all the lights that were in the house Laban had that night extinguished. And in the morning, when daylight appeared, Jacob turned to his wife, and he saw, and behold, it was Leah that had been laying in his bosom. And Jacob said, Behold, now I know what the neighbors said last night. Hey Leah, they said, I knew it not.
So right here, so he finally figured out the riddle. Yeah. Oh, so it was you they was hollering about. Yeah, it was me. But she laying in his bosom. So what then took place after laying in bosom? Y'all know what it is, rest time. It'd been different if she was sitting over there smoking a cigarette. Look at this nigga here. But she was laying in his bosom like, ooh, I'm sorry, Rachel, you missed out. Come on, y'all, let's read some more.
Verse 11.
What it say?
And Jacob called unto Laban, and said unto him, What is this thou didst unto me? Surely I served thee for Rachel, and why didst thou deceive me, and didst give me Leah? And Laban answered Jacob, saying, Not so is it done in our place to give the younger before the elder. Now therefore, if thou desirest to take her sister likewise, take her unto thee for the service which thou wilt serve me for another 7 years.
So he said for the service or the original contract we made. Look, bro, I just didn't want to tell you, man, but around here, man, look, while we were saying hey to tell you, but the firstborn don't go the firstborn, they get the rights.
This next one gonna kill him.
See, so, but this the kicker though. If Esau and Jacob were supposed to marry wives, who was Esau supposed to marry? Like Samson, riddle me this. Who was he supposed to marry? Because it said when he went up and married them Canaanite women, his dad and his mama was displeased at him. So was Leah supposed to be Esau's wife?
Yeah.
But because of what Jacob did in the beginning, it's coming back 360. Go ahead, let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 13. And Jacob did so, and he also took Rachel for a wife, and he served Laban 7 years more. And Jacob also came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. And Laban gave her his handmaid Bilhah for a handmaid. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, the Lord opened her womb, and she conceived and bare Jacob 4 sons in those days. And these are their names, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. And she afterward left barren. And at that time...
See, afterwards she left barren. So after 4 sons, she couldn't have no more. Now y'all have to think, if we're saying that this is Leah, either she had those 4 sons inside of the beginning of the second 7 years, and Rachel ain't having none. You have to understand, all of this is taking place in the last 6 years after the 2 7-year periods.
So right there in 13, it say he took Rachel for a wife.
Yeah.
And he served 7 more years.
Yeah.
Right. So he got her then.
Yeah, he got her then.
Right, but
this was an installment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Now you get it.
Yeah.
Let's read a little bit more. But we're going to get clearer when we get in Jubilee.
Verse 16. And at that time Rachel was barren, and she had no offspring. And Rachel envied her sister Leah. And when Rachel saw that she bare no children to Jacob, she took her handmaid Bilhah.
Jacob took her handmaid.
She took her handmaid Bilhah, and she bare Jacob 2 sons.
So I was just saying Jacob to say Jacob took the handmaid, but who gave her the handmaid?
Rachel.
Who gave it to Jacob? Rachel.
Right.
Rachel said, here, take my handmaid. You know, I can't have no children, so these were what's called surrogate mothers. You know, you had a baby for me, and they would do something we call sit upon my knees. So when it was time for the baby to be born, they actually sit that woman on the other woman's lap. Right. And while she's having a baby, it's technically like she's having a baby. It ain't like today Kim Kardashian, you know, the last 3 babies they had are all by surrogates. She didn't want to mess up her figure. So they put them in a surrogate, them last couple of babies they got. This case, the same situation was you sit on lap. Remember Hagar sat on Sarah's lap the same way as well. So it's like it's my baby. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And when Leah saw that she had left barren, she also took her handmaid Zilpah, and she gave her to Jacob for a wife.
See, so now Leah, so we see Leah went through a barren period. after 4 children because the squab is getting tense. I got 4 babies already, you ain't got none, and she like this, and I'm the original wife, and he waited on me, and it's tense. So the Lord like, no, can't have no more of this. Close your womb up, Leah. And so now she's giving her handmaid, because both of them barren now. But the jealousy rage is still going on between 2 sisters.
But in both instances, he didn't go take them.
He didn't go do nothing, did he?
He didn't go take them.
Didn't take them. Didn't even mention. You know why?
Keep it to their tent.
Because his mind was on that one woman named Rachel that he could have had 13 children with. One woman. He could have built a nation with one. Because I know the stewards, is 20 of them. Same mom and daddy. Every one of them look just alike.
All 20.
Every one of them look just alike. When they say, here come them stewards. Better not be in a scrap with them. Watch them when they handled Day Wayne. They was passing out weapons. Here's a stick. Here's a back scratcher for you. And boy, they was on Day Wayne's ass. 20 of them. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 17. And when Leah saw that she had left barren, she also took her handmaid Zilpah, and she gave her to Jacob for a wife.
See, and when we use the word wife, it eliminates a harlot or a concubine that these Negroes hollering is a sex slave. So you think the Most High got women out here that you can just run up in and out of, then how can it be adultery or fornication if that's the case? How is that possible? When you don't have to have no responsibilities. With a woman that you run up in, that's a harlot. The problem is harlots have babies.
Right.
Let's get some more.
And Jacob also came to Zilpah, and she also bare Jacob 2 sons, Gad and Asher.
Right.
And Leah again conceived, and bare Jacob in those days 2 sons and 1 daughter. And these are their names, Issachar, Zebulun, and their sister Dinah. And Rachel was still barren in those days. And Rachel prayed unto the Lord at that time. And she said, O Lord God, remember me and visit me. I beseech thee, for now my husband will cast me off.
What my husband gonna do?
Cast me off.
Why is that gonna happen? Why would he cast off? Why is she thinking this? Because of what? She can't have no children.
Right.
Let's read some more.
For I have bore him no children. Now, O Lord God, hear my supplication before thee, and see my affliction, and give me children like one of the handmaids, that I may no more bear my reproach. And God heard her and opened her womb, and Rachel conceived and bare a son. And she said, the Lord has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, saying, may the Lord add to me another son. And Jacob was 91 years old when she bare him.
Okay, so now we got 79 years old and we got 91. Do the math. How many years is that in between?
18.
No.
Say 70, 12.
91 and 79.
12?
12 years.
Yeah.
So it's a 14-year ball here we talking about. How has he got all these babies and it's only been 12 years and he had to do 14 years?
So another 8 missing.
No, basically what I'm saying is 2 off the 14 and he got all these wives and children. If he didn't take Rachel to after the second 7 years, you can't do that in 12 years because that's 14 years. He got all of this inside of 12 years. And he didn't have none of them the first 7 years. So he got these inside of that second 7 years.
Right.
And actually less than that in that second, in 5 years.
Yeah, because he was waiting them first 7.
And 79, 91, that's 12 years.
Yeah.
See, the math will tell you, but only reason this is kind of coming like this because of that foolishness about the wedding week was a whole year versus 7 days. Get that madness out of here. Let's read some more. 22.
22. It says, at that time Jacob's mother Rebekah sent her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Uz, and 2 of Isaac's servants unto Jacob. And they came to Jacob in Haran, and they said unto him, Rebekah has sent us to thee, that thou shalt return to thy father's house, to the land of Canaan.
So right here it says Jacob has to return, right? Is this inside the 14 or we in the 20 ball? Let's read some more. Give it answer itself, okay?
And Jacob hearkened unto them in this which his mother had spoken. And at that time, the other 7 years which Jacob served Laban for Rachel were complete. And it was at the end of 14 years that he had dwelt in Haran that Jacob said to Laban, give me my wives and send me away.
Give me my what?
My wives.
At the end of how many years?
14 years.
Okay, so all them children was gotten inside that 7 years. So he didn't wait because Rachel had 2 children inside of that. Plus her handmaid had children. Inside the 14. Let's read some more.
Give me my wives and send me away, that I may go to my land. For behold, my mother did send unto me from the land of Canaan, that I should return to my father's house. And Laban said unto him, not so, I pray thee. If I have found favor in thy sight do not leave me. Appoint me thy wages, and I will give thee them, and remain with me.
See, so now you talking about, man, just tell me what it costs, bro. Look, just tell me what it costs. Just stay, man. Don't leave. Man, what you charge? What you charge? Whatever you charge, I pay. And he looking like, you ain't paid what you agreed to all these other 10 times. You've been slicking me. But Laban know the deal right here. He's like, if you leave, I'll kill you. So you might as well sign the contract. Let's read some more.
Verse 26. And Jacob said unto him, this is what thou shalt give me for wages, that I shall this day pass through all thy flock, and take away from them every lamb that is speckled and spotted, and such as are brown amongst the sheep, and amongst the goats. And if thou wilt do this thing for me, I will return and feed thy flock, and keep them as at first. And Laban did so. And Laban removed from his flock all that Jacob had said, and gave them to him. And Jacob placed all that he had removed from Laban's flock in the hand of his sons. And Jacob was feeding the remainder of Laban's flock.
So let's get a look right here. How old then, if this is conversation and the second 7 years had just ended right there. So Reuben is only 7 years old at this point. That's the only way he can be. If he ended up with Leah and just say she got pregnant on that first night. That's just the beginning of the second 7 years, not the first. And if we at the end of the second 7 years, Reuben can only be 7 years old at this time. Young children. Let's read some more.
Verse 29. And when the servants of Isaac which had sent unto Jacob saw that Jacob would not then return with them to the land of Canaan to his father, they then went away from him. And they returned home to the land of Canaan. And Deborah remained with Jacob in Haran. And she did not return with the servants of Isaac to the land of Canaan. And Deborah resided with Jacob's wives and children in Haran.
So who is Deborah?
That was Rebecca.
That's Rebecca's nurse. The same nurse. She sent the nurse. She sent Big Mama.
Yeah.
Big Mama came with her to Isaac. Big Mama know the rules of wives and how to get down and keep things cleaned up. You read about her and like I say, is it when he met when Rebecca was sent back, I believe it's the 24th chapter or 27th chapter, I'm sorry, when Isaac first met Rebecca, the nurse was with her. Deborah was with her. No, Isaac, she too young. You got to wait. Waiting was not a problem. As you can see, Jacob's 79 years old. Waiting wasn't no problem for them. But if you convince, and a lot of these silly women just want the dust knocked off of them. Legs been together longer than the OJs, they looking for satisfaction. So you'll play that role and then be crying a month later. Ain't all these Negroes' fault. Let's get some more.
Verse 31. And Jacob served Laban 6 years longer.
How long he serving?
6 years longer.
So now we into the last 6 years, but all the children are born. So y'all, did that clear up? I'm just saying from the perspective that Jacob waited another 7 before he took Rachel.
Yeah, definitely.
Cleared it right up.
So did that clear the wedding week from 1 year versus just 7 days?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not if you lusting for it to be that way.
Yeah, if you lusted for it to be that way, hell, it'll be 2 hours. Where we at?
Verse 31. And Jacob served Laban 6 years longer. And when the sheep brought forth, Jacob removed from them such as were speckled and spotted, as he had determined with Laban. And Jacob did so at Laban for 6 years. And the man increased abundantly, and he had cattle and maid servants and men servants, camels and asses. And Jacob had 200 droves of cattle, and his cattle were of large size and of beautiful appearance, and were very productive. And all the families of the sons of men desired to get some of the cattle of Jacob, for they were exceedingly prosperous. And many of the sons of men came to procure some of Jacob's flock. And Jacob gave them a sheep for a manservant or a maidservant, or for an ass or a camel.
There wasn't no extra woman.
Right.
Come on, the donkey. Go ahead.
Or whatever Jacob desired from them, they gave him. And Jacob obtained riches and honor and possessions by means of these transactions with the sons of men. And the children of Laban envied him of this honor. And in the course of the time, he heard the words of Laban's son.
Yo, Laban's who?
Son.
Now we got Laban's got sons, so we seen that in Genesis as well. But you'll see though, as we back up, I'm gonna find it. Just keep reading. That when his sons were born.
Saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our fathers, and of that which was our fathers has he acquired all this glory. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban and his children.
See, so now, once again, the face is showing how he feel. He say, Jacob looked at their countenance. You know what these Negroes saying? Man, this nigga got fat off of Laban. This nigga got fat off of Laban. When it was the other way around. But Jacob is feeling the curse that Esau was saying the thing. Jacob done got fat off of me. He got the kingdom. All I got is just this little earthly stuff. Dig and get some diamonds or something. But he gonna run the kingdom forever. He got that off of me. That nigga got it off of me.
Grieved him, my boy.
Grieve. Let's read some more.
Verse 35. And in the course of time, he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our fathers, and of that which was our fathers has he acquired all this glory. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban and his children, and behold, it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. And the Lord appeared to Jacob at the expiration of 6 years, and said unto him, Arise, go forth out of this land, and return to the land of thy birthplace.
Hold it, what chapter you in? 31, right?
Yeah.
Just hold that verse and give me verse 18 really quick, because this is what happened. Jacob was doing so good, he actually opened up the womb of Laban's 2 women that couldn't have children. Or is still from the first wife. God, hit 18, verse 18 of that same 31. I'm just going back because I just want to read where we kept saying, where did Laban get his sons from?
Verse 18, 31 and 18.
17, go ahead.
17.
Yeah.
And when Leah saw that she had left barren, she...
Where you at? Hold on. We at 30. No, give me 30 and 17. I'm sorry.
30 and 17. All right, Jasher chapter 30, verse 17. And in the 3rd year of Jacob's dwelling in Haran, how you pronounce that? Bashmath, the daughter of Ishmael, the wife of Esau, bare unto him a son, and Esau called his name Ruel. And in the 4th year of Jacob's residence in the house of Laban, the Lord visited Laban and remembered him on account of Jacob, and his sons were born unto him.
So is these Jacob's sons, or whose sons we talking about here?
Laban's son.
Go ahead.
And his firstborn was Bor.
So we know Jacob ain't got no sons named Bor unless that's Reuben's nickname. Bor.
Dior.
Right. Go ahead. Beor, yeah.
His second was Eliab.
Eliab, yeah.
And his third was, how you pronounce it?
Korash.
Korash. And the Lord gave Laban riches and honor, sons and daughters, and the man increased greatly on account of Jacob.
Now just move back up there. Well, I just wanted to show this. This where Laban's son. This is Jacob setting it out for him spiritually. Now your wife's wombs are opening up. You got 3 sons now.
Right.
And he's doing all this, and he like, but Laban pulling that stunt.
On that boy.
You know, Laban pulling that stunt, man. You helping him out, and he playing you dirty. But we have to go back and look at the beginning. Just like we cannot blame the heathen for bringing us in captivity, we can only blame them for furthering the affliction. Amen. But we have to go back to the beginning and see why we got cast out of the land. It wasn't no heathens come up in there looking like Donald Trump talking about, niggas get out of here. Go to the 4 corners of the earth. I'm setting up shop in here. That didn't happen, did it? No. So we have to be accountable for that. But the furthering of the affliction, if we leave out why we're here and just focus on furthering the affliction, we have offended that law of captivity. Because we won't explain why we're here. It's like you get caught, but you keep telling your mama what happened after you did your crime. She said, I'm not asking you about that. Why did you leave the house and go to that store with that boy and get caught stealing? Well, we wouldn't have got caught, but he didn't know they had put up some of them 2-way mirrors. Not what I'm asking you. I told you don't go outside. You wouldn't even be talking about no 2-way mirror. So in like manner, we can't just keep talking about the heathen and what they did to us, and we exclude. I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm saying, but you got to tell why we here. Start at the beginning. Let's read some more. Where you at?
Verse 27.
Okay.
Joshua chapter 31, verse 27.
We're going to get out of here early. Go ahead.
And Laban did so. And Laban removed from his flock all that Jacob had said and gave them to him.
So we can hold her. Y'all read the rest of the story. It gets into what Jacob patched things up with Esau, so to speak, just like the Bible speak of. We just going to get into a little book of this Jubilees. You know, so that we get some good understanding on that Jubilees. I had 29, 24, that Josh. I just want to see that again. 29, 24. Why did I have that more? Okay, give me just that while we're in that Josh. Give me 29 and 24. Because see, the law is still in the it didn't just start at Mount Sinai. Under Melchizedek, like I say, same laws, different priesthood. Just give me 29 and 24. What that say?
29.
Of Josh.
Alright, Joshua chapter 29, verse 24. And Isaac called unto Jacob and said unto him, take not a wife from the daughters of Canaan.
Ain't that same thing Leviticus 18 say? But this way before Mount Sinai. Ain't nowhere near Egypt yet. Go ahead, what else it say?
For thus did our father Abraham command us according to the word of the Lord, which he had commanded him, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. If thy children keep my covenant that I made with thee, then will I also perform to thy children that which I have spoken unto thee, and I will not forsake them.
So we see the marriage covenant don't marry outside the race. Now you understand when you get into this why Rebekah and Isaac was so mad at Esau. Because not only did he marry a Canaanite woman, he married an Ishmaelite woman too. He like, I don't care what my daddy say, gave that nigga the covenant. Come here, Canaanite woman. You want the other white meat? You Ishmaelite woman, you want to try Red and Harry?
Watch out now.
Daddy done made me mad, my mama. What we had? Give me some Jubilee. Chapter 28, y'all. We're going to close out after this. Y'all, but what I want to bring forth is this covenant, y'all, that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and not once was it done. And what I want y'all to do as homework, well, after we get Jubilees, I want y'all to read the testament of Issachar, the 12 patriarchs. It's going to be serious talking there about the hire for the mandrakes. You're going to get a clear understanding. Issachar, the son of Leah, talking about how his mama expressed to him about what happened with those mandrakes and how they was warring. And he says, I'm 125 years old. I only had one wife my whole life. See, so it wasn't mandatory to have two wives. Jacob ain't never taught it. None of the patriarchs ever taught it. Was it in the world? Yes. But it was responsibility. These men had responsibility. They wasn't stacking them up to get the Wuhan checks.
And he said that's all he desired. Because he worked at home and he had time.
I got laid off, so I need another wife.
Boy. Now what's she gonna do but bring in more responsibility? A woman is 10 times more need I would say management than a man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
10 times more, because it's things she must have to continue on to make sure she clean. Yet men don't care. No responsibility is up here. That big R is chasing them like the Frankenstein monster. Where we at? Jubilees 28:1.
Jubilees chapter 28, verse 1.
Let me see you. Oh, go ahead. You keep up. Okay.
Good.
All right. What it say?
And he traveled to the land of the east, to Laban, Rebekah's brother. And he was with him and served him for Rachel, his daughter, 1 week.
How many weeks?
1 week.
So now this would be 7 years. So this is the week. But now y'all, we're in Jubilees. So Jubilees, y'all know what it is. Time is measured in weeks, right? What's a complete Jubilee? 49 Jubilees plus 1, right? That's an entire complete Jubilee. It's the same as Leviticus 25 when you're talking about the stranger and the 7-year Sabbath and the Jubilee of the Sabbath. Same thing. Let's read some more.
And in the first year of the 3rd week, he said to him, give me my wife for whom I have served you 7 years.
Right.
And Laban said to Jacob, I will give you your wife. And Laban prepared a banquet, and he took Leah, his elder daughter, and he gave her to Jacob as a wife. And he gave to her Zilpah, his handmaid, as an attendant. But Jacob did not know it, because Jacob assumed that she was Rachel. And he entered into her, and behold, she was Leah. And Jacob was angry with Laban, and he said to him, why have you entreated me thus? Was it not for Rachel that I served you, and not for Leah? Why have you offended me? Take your daughter, and I will go, because you have done evil against me.
Now see what Jacob trying to do? He like, you can have Leah back. He like, you about to lie. You about to lie. No, the way Leah's smiling, you're not going to leave that problem here with me. You're not going to run through her like water and take off. Let's read some more.
For Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, because the eyes of Leah were weak, but her appearance was very beautiful.
But her what?
Appearance.
See, in these other writings say form. You have more, just like same thing though. It's reading the same thing. But it say her form was beautiful. It just say her eyes, but the body was banging. Ain't that what it say? Let's read some more. What else it say?
And Rachel had good eyes and a good appearance, and she was very beautiful. And Laban said to Jacob, it does not happen thus in our land, to give the younger woman before the elder. And it is not right to do this, because thus it is ordained and written in the heavenly tablet.
Where is it ordained and written?
In the heavenly tablet.
Now come on y'all, we got to think about this. So when we're talking about Jubilees, you got to be ready to answer this. When did this get written in the heavenly tablets? And see, that's the kicker. Laban knew it was written in the heavenly tablets, not the tablets that Moses written. It was already ordained in heaven. The order of Melchizedek is in heaven. It's the same order that's coming back down with New Jerusalem, not the order of Aaron. And these Negroes ain't doing the order of Aaron. Shame on them for saying they doing Aaron. You just looking like Aaron and sitting in his seat. You ain't doing nothing that Aaron and Moses did. They would have never pulled no stunts like that. Go ahead.
In the heavenly tablets, that no one should give his younger daughter before the elder, because he shall first give the elder, and after her the younger. And they will write it down as sin in heaven concerning the man who acts thus. And no one who does this thing will be righteous, because this deed is evil before the Lord.
Okay, so read it from here, because everybody probably reading that verse.
Yeah, what is that you got?
Yeah, go ahead, read it. Where you at? Verse, what verse?
I was in the wrong thing at first.
It's same language, it's just the words are the same. Hold on. No, that's it. It's got Jubilees in there. You in Jubilees 28, and Laban gave his handmaid. That's where you at right there. You have wronged me. Take the daughter, and I will go this way. Don't know evil. Where you at? Jump before the wicked. There you at. You at verse 8.
Verse 8. And Laban said to Jacob, let the 7 days of the feast of this one pass by, and I will give thee Rachel, that thou mayest serve me another 7 years.
See, so you see there's two separations? Go ahead and give the week. And then I'll give you 7, and then you go ahead and serve me 7 more years, right? Just give Leah the week. She owed 6 more days. If you saying this mean a year, or those was weeks of years, Jubilee didn't just say that because it is breaking it down. Because if he give her if another week is a year, then that's 7 more years, plus the 7 he just promised. That's 21 years. And you ain't got the other 6 years that Laban gonna tack on to that, which would be 28 years in total. Let's read some more. What else it say?
It says, and I shall give thee Rachel, that thou mayest serve me another 7 years, that thou mayest pasture my sheep as thou didst in the former week. And
You're going down to 25.
Okay. And on the day when the 7 days of the feast of Rachel had passed.
See, on the days when the 7 days of the feast had passed, you telling me when do a feast last a year? Where is it recorded that a wedding feast lasts a year? Them Negroes got a problem with them 7 days on the honeymoon. You know why? That's the day that they need off, because they ain't working or doing nothing else. They boning for 6 days. They need a day off to recover. Let's read some more.
Verse 9 again. And on the day when the 7 days of the feast of Leah had passed, Laban gave Rachel to Jacob, that he might serve him another 7 years. And he gave to Rachel Bilhah, the sister of Zilpah, as a handmaid. So dang, he took 2 sisters.
Well, no, he just said that's the handmaid. He gave for the sisters.
The sister of Zilpah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he served yet another 7 years for Rachel, for Leah had been given to him for nothing.
See, for nothing. Basically, what he told him, like, you never work for her, you work for Rachel. Now think about this hospitality. This is what I'm talking about. Laban has sodomite activity in his mind. You got her for free, partner. So, I mean, technically you owe me. Because even though I didn't tell you, the law around here say you can't take the elder before the younger, but I didn't want to break your heart, boy. But I couldn't break the law either. So, they twins, they the same. You know, and I mean, that's how he just looked at it. Nigga, just keep them sheep populating. Do what you do out in them fields. That's what I'm talking about. And you can get Zilpah, you can get Bilhah too, but keep the flocks flowing.
A couple of brews on there.
Go ahead, what else to say, bro? You down to 25?
I'm at 10.
Okay.
And he served yet other 7 years for Rachel, for Leah had been given to him for nothing. And the Lord opened the womb of Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob a son, and he called his name Reuben.
See, so the 7 years had passed before Leah had her first son. Because he already served 7. We into the contract of the second one, ain't we? Let's read some more.
On the 14th day of the 9th month, in the first year of the 3rd week.
See, that's Jubilee talk, y'all. That's Jubilee talk. That talk is separated from 7 years versus 7 days. It's clearly designed. Look, after you finish the wedding week, go on honeymoon it up. Boy, man, just please, you gonna get Rachel? That girl got 6 more days of pleasure. Handle your business. And not once through all this reading have anybody said, save the Sabbath day. Don't honeymoon on the Sabbath. Anybody seen that on the honeymoon? Don't save the Sabbath. Because we see Samson had 7 days. Ain't a Sabbath in 7 days? No matter how you slice it, you're going to get a Sabbath in 7 days. And not once does it say, save the Sabbath. But Negroes who chased that last book of Jubilees, talking about where he's talking to the priests. That's what Jubilees is called, Little Genesis. He's talking to the priest. Y'all can't do this. But there's no second witness, in Isaiah 58 ain't it. It ain't it. No more than David could eat the showbread. It was for the common bread he could have ate. The priest knew all the rules of this. So it's a total difference in pulling that hoodwink move just for 2 or 20 minutes. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. But the womb of Rachel was closed.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord saw that Leah was hated and Rachel loved. And again Jacob went in unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob a second son, and he called his name Simeon.
See, so this is a different type of hate, y'all. See, this not the hate them Negroes putting down. He ain't called Leah once a dragon woman, have he? So we know it ain't that hate. It means to love less. The Lord saw she was hated. He ain't said one for Jacob treated her rough. He didn't say nothing like this in Malachi 2:14 when it say to treat your first wife treacherously. None of this is coming out of the Lord's mouth. He like, no, Jacob getting what he deserved, what he did with his father, Isaac. So, but I'm not going to allow Leah to be punished like that. I'm going to open her womb up and let her have some children, because, you know, all of it's part of that reaping what you sow. Let's read some more.
On the 21st of the 10th month, and in the 3rd year of this week. And again Jacob went in unto Leah, and she conceived and bare him a 3rd son. And he called his name Levi, in the new moon of the 1st month, in the 6th year of this week.
See, y'all see how it's breaking it down, the months and of the week of the Jubilee? Because it spans out time. Jubilees span out time in 7 times 7, 49 weeks plus a year. It creates the year. So you have to understand when the language is talking, you can't apply regular language when it's talking Jubilee language. No more than you can read Leviticus 25 and think that's talking regular language. That's talking in Jubilees for Sabbaths and everything. After your servant have served you 1 week, you got to let him go. You got to let him go unless he chooses to stay with you. The language is clear. Negroes just hustling the scriptures.
Yep.
Let's read some more.
Verse 15. And again Jacob went in unto her, and she conceived and bare a 4th son, and called his name Judah. On the 15th of the 3rd month, in the 1st year of the 4th week. And on account of all this, Rachel envied Leah, but she did not bear. And she said to Jacob, give me children. And Jacob said, have I withheld from thee the fruit of thy womb? Have I forsaken thee? And when Rachel saw that Leah had bore 4 sons to Jacob, Reuben and Simeon and Levi and Judah, she said unto him, go in unto Bilhah my handmaid, and she will conceive and bear a son unto me. And she
bear a son unto who?
Unto me.
Okay.
And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife. And he went in unto her, and she conceived and bare him a son, and he called his name Dan. On the ninth of the 6th month, in the 6th year of the 3rd week.
Y'all see, it's giving the birth of all these boys when they were born.
Birthday.
Birthday. It's giving the birthday of these men. It's Psalms 90 and 12. Teach me to number my years. When some say, well, y'all ain't supposed to be doing birthday. We ain't supposed to put candles on there and make wishes to something, and your parents don't know what you're wishing about.
Right.
But you can number the number of your years. How you gonna ever know you 70?
We
How
gonna
old are
guess.
you, man? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't keep up with that foolishness. I don't know how old I am. I remember I left my mama's house. I was 18 and you know, a couple years I spent in jail, and then, you know, man, when I went over to Japan, I was living in that cave. Hell, I didn't come out of that cave for 6 months. What year is it anyway?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 19. And Jacob went in again unto Bilhah a second time, and she conceived, and bare Jacob another son, and Rachel called his name Naphtali, on the 5th of the 7th month, in the 2nd year of the 4th week. And when Leah saw that she had become sterile and did not bear, she envied Rachel.
See, now you see this? That's when we say, and Leah left off bearing in both Genesis and Jasher. Right there, it say she become what?
Sterile.
Sterile. Y'all know what sterile means? Can't have nothing, no fruit. Can't be produced. So we're seeing the same exact language in all three writings, in all three letters. They're matching up. The summary is exactly the same. Ain't nothing changed. We just getting better understanding of what we thought it was saying. Go ahead, bro.
And she also gave her handmaid Zilpah to Jacob to wife, and she conceived and bare a son. And Leah called his name Gad on the 12th of the 8th month, in the 3rd year of the 4th week. And he went in again unto her, and she conceived and bare him a second son. And Leah called his name Asher on the 2nd of the 11th month, in the 5th year of the 4th week.
See how the weeks of 4, see, so that's telling you it was another year, because it takes 9 months to make a baby. See, he was just showed in the 3rd week, right? And then this just the 4th week. So we know that week is talking at least a year. It has to, because how long does it take to have a baby? Unless all these children were premature. Go ahead, read some up.
Verse 22 again. And Jacob went in unto Leah, and she conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Issachar, on the 4th of the 5th month, in the 4th year of the 4th week, and she gave him to a nurse. And Jacob went in again unto her, and she conceived and bare 2 children, a son and a daughter. And she called the name of the son Zebulun, and the name of the daughter Dinah. In the 7th of the 7th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week.
In the 6th year. So was they twins?
What is that?
Because that was the 5th week, or just say 5th year or 6th year. What does it say?
It says the 7th, in the 7th of the 7th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week.
In the 6th year of the 4th week. So he pumping them out. But they different women. So they could have, like 2 women could be birth children in the same year. Look, this is a problem in Israel right now. Shit, what you mean that heifer pregnant? You been over there, they saying it's your baby. How I know it's mine? The problem is you say it can't be mine.
Right.
That's the problem. That's what she want to hear. She lying. That heifer lying. Ask her where the mole at. She lying. Yeah. But when you say how I know it's mine, you know another Negro was on the line.
Right.
That's what you saying. It could be that Negro that come on there on Tuesday.
You admit you touched it.
Right. You meant you touched it. A raw dog, and if she pregnant, now we got a whole nother issue. She pregnant, and I know you ain't been in that heifer, and she still, and Earl creeps over there on Tuesday. I done found that out. And you raw dogging her, nigga. Well, we gonna wait in 9 months. In 9 months, we gonna know. We gonna know in 9 months. You better shut up, woman. You're wicked ass. You get out of here. She like, who name on the lease? Let's read some more.
Verse 24. And the Lord was gracious to Rachel, and opened her womb, and she conceived, and bare a son, and she called his name Joseph, on the new moon of the 4th month, in the 6th year, in this 4th week. And in the days when Joseph was born, Jacob said to Laban, give me my wives and sons, and let me go to my father Isaac, and let me make me in house. For I have completed the years in which I have served thee for thy 2 daughters, and I will go to the house of my father.
See, I've completed the years for the 2 daughters. The 2 years, 7 years for the first one, 7 years for the second one, and he got all these children. And Rachel got children. But he's saying the contract is complete.
Yeah.
Rachel didn't get pregnant in them last 6 years. She got pregnant within them 7 years. So he had Rachel before the second 7 years old. And it's not a big topic what we're trying to make here. It's just understanding that, you know, if you thought it meant that he waited 14 years for one woman. He waited 7 years and a week. Because he had to give Leah her week. And then he took her to wife. So all he waited was 7 years and a week. And then he had Rachel, but she couldn't have no children. What else to say? You have verse 25, we're gonna close out verse 25. That was it? Anybody got any questions or concerns out there on this subject matter, y'all? Y'all, and look, you'll have no problem. You'll never get into a debate contest if you deal with free and bond, male and female, on every law. And all you have to use is a process of extrapolation. If it's not for a woman, at least say this one does not apply to a woman. We're going to extrapolate out, but at least you're saying, because there's no history of this law ever happening to a woman. But at least you're accounting for it. When you just point at one person and all they faults, and you know it's got four sides, you hustling the flock. It ain't hard, but a lot of the flock want to see your hustle. Because all they thinking is, I don't care who you think I am. You can think I'm Ray or Leach or Meecha, I don't care. Knock this dust loose.
Clean them cobwebs.
Clean them cobwebs. Did we finish that?
Yes, sir.
Yo, as homework, y'all, because we're going to get on out of here. It's about 4:31. Want to get into the testament of Issachar. But we ain't got that, do it.
That's in the,
It's in the lost books.
It's in the same one?
Is it the
You
pseudo
got
or
right
the
there?
lost books?
The same one
It's
you
in
got
the
right
lost
there?
books.
That's what
It's in the pseudo, but that's different.
Well, if it's different, y'all, we ain't gonna get into it. We just have y'all pull up the PDF. And y'all read the testament of Issachar. I want y'all to read the testament of Issachar because it surrounded Rachel getting pregnant. You know, with the hire. Oh, it's in that one. I got
Yeah,
that
the
one.
one in
Yeah.
this is fire.
Yeah.
The Testament of the 12 Patriarchs?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
toward the back. I can tell
But
you
y'all
exactly
read
what
the
page.
testament of Issachar. And when you read the testament of Issachar, and this man is because he saw what his daddy went through.
Page 241 in the back.
In the back, 241. He saw what his daddy went through, and he said, I'm not going through that. I'm not going through that. And then when you check all the history of the 12 tribes, only two was ever polygamous of the 12. Simeon and Levi. Did you? But not at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to figure out.
But Simeon and Levi, the only ones out of the 12 tribes. 10 other brothers went solo. Yo, we're not putting down if you want to practice that practice. What we're talking about is a level of responsibility. It is 100% legal. We're not arguing that. We're arguing the Exodus 21:10. We're arguing the Proverbs 27:27. Give me them really quick. That's what we're talking about.
Proverbs 27:27.
Yeah, and give me Exodus 21:10, is it?
Yeah.
And that's what we're arguing. If we're saying that's accomplished, hell, we with you. But we're not going to keep sitting you watching you make videos talking about we're saying it's illegal and you know damn well that ain't what we're saying. We're talking responsibility and a power of protection.
My whole thing is if you handling your business, you wouldn't have to say nothing.
You wouldn't have to say,
You wouldn't be making not a video.
boy,
Because wouldn't nobody be able to say nothing?
wouldn't nobody be able to say nothing to you. Boy, you said, I see you got up and ate some unleavened bread too this morning. Yes, sir. And y'all, we ain't talking about nothing because we were young men before too, but we ain't never used the Bible. That's weak on a woman.
Right.
That's what weak on a woman is. Your macking is lacking. Terribly. When you used to do this thing, yeah. You know how you made that thing check, yes, if you like me, and everybody, no again, damn. No again, damn. I can't stand you, heifer. You wait till I get old enough and start to learn how to read. I'm gonna get that Bible and I'm gonna read some parts in there and then I'm gonna get y'all ass.
But maybe that's why they get it, because they always check this for me.
Where we at, boy? Let's finish up. What they saying out there before we close out?
You said Proverbs 27:27.
What it say?
It says, and thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maid.
Now, I had a Negro say, man, that was talking about sheep. Since when is a sheep called a maiden unless you going up in that sheep?
Uh-oh.
Then it's a part of your household. That says, y'all ever read in there what a maiden is called a sheep? Never? Ain't you, man, that was talking about this. Enough for thy household. Give me that 24 and that's 24 and 10. Is it 21 and 10?
That's 21.
21 and 10. Give me that.
Boy, they reaching hard.
Boy, they reaching, boy, arms too short though.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 10 reads, if he take him another wife.
If he do what?
Take him another wife.
So we know it's legal, but it's saying if. Just like the law in Deuteronomy say, if a man take a second wife. It's not a mandatory commandment. You can't command nobody, nor can you command a woman to accept that. Where you reading it at on the woman's side? See, that's the side I'm talking about. They don't have no scripts that say that, so they just say, the script is shut your damn mouth.
Right. Bring her in.
Right.
Bertha, come on in. This your sister. Willita, come on in. Both y'all gonna share that room under there. Y'all can piss in that bucket. And you come over here, y'all can piss over there.
That's not separate tense.
Now,
She'll have her own tent.
Let's read what it say, bro.
That's just what it is.
if he take him another
That
wife,
business and won't nobody say nothing.
her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
And you know they'll holler, that's a slave girl. Well, if it's for a slave girl, what about the first wife? That's not, if this has to happen for a slave girl, why would you let a statement like that fly out of your mouth?
But let me get that 11.
Go ahead, bro, you can get the letter.
And if he do not these
Yeah.
three unto her,
And if they do what?
do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without usury.
Without
money.
Without money. Come on, get on here. You can't handle this.
Your whole thing done fell apart.
You can't handle the truth. The truth is, if you stack them up, you get another one, can't nothing diminish. Or you hustling backwards. You can't use her to fight the coronavirus, get 2 more women in there. What's wrong with you, Negroes? Now we can beat the virus. Hey, who that girl you say at work with you that was smiling every time I come in there? You know the girl that's sitting next to you at your job. Yeah, bring her on in. She'll get a check too, and we can get this thing popping. Cause we got to build a nation.
You ain't building no nation. The country building it for you.
Boy, anybody got anything out there before we close out? Just want to say y'all, hope y'all had a wonderful Passover and continue to enjoy your 7 days of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And let me say this too, you cannot do 14 days of unleavened bread. Not saying you can't go visit somebody else that's having a Passover, but if you know you in day 3 and they on day 1, either that has to count as your day 4. But you can't just be eating like you just visiting houses on Thanksgiving or Christmas. You doing the same damn thing. The instructions are clear, and it cuts off at the 2nd month. If you can't make it 2nd and 1 and done, you through.
That's it.
You don't get a 3rd month to come back, or a 4th month. You don't get none of that. It's 1 and then the makeup. And then we get ready for the Jubilee of Pentecost. 7 complete Sabbaths in 1 day. Now, is that 1 day a year? Because we be doing Pentecost a year later, wouldn't we?
Right.
Get out of here with that foolishness. Yeah, I'm gonna quit hollering like that. My temple's hurting.
Get laryngitis.
Yeah. Y'all, but that's all we got. What they saying out there?
Everybody saying that, everybody enjoying the lesson.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna close out.
All right then, y'all.
And y'all, look, let me say this too. Ema Rea Elia, and I talked to her about today. She was asking about a prayer for the entire nation. Shalom, Ema. Hey, we got a little bit late on reminding myself of that. But what she wants to do is a worldwide prayer for this virus to help, to protect our family members who trust and believe in the gospel. She's asking for, and I said, well, the most powerful time is the 9th hour prayer. And that's That's Acts 3 and 1, where it says called the hour of prayer, and it's Matthew 27:45, I believe, when Most High gave up the ghost on the 9th hour, when he gave up his prayer at the 9th hour. So we understand that's the most powerful time. Now, we always say 3 p.m., but technically it's not 3 p.m. if you count from 6 o'clock in the morning as the first hour. 6 to 7 is 1 hour, right? 7 to 8 is 2 hours. 8 to, am I right? 9 is 3 hours. 9 to 10 is 4 hours. 10 to 11 is 5 hours.
Hands, so you keep up.
Yeah. 11 to 12, it's the 6th hour of the day. We always say that's noon time. And then let's go 12 to 1 is the 7th hour. What? 1 to 2 is the 8th hour. So 2 to 3 will be the 9th hour. So technically 2:01 p.m. till 2:59 or to 3 p.m. you're in what's called the 9th hour, but it starts at 2 p.m. not 3 p.m. So I was wanting to explain to Emo that that's going to put the East Coast, no matter how we do it, an hour ahead of her. So I suggested maybe we mention it at the on the show tomorrow, where we can have the worldwide everybody into it, because if we don't, they're going to be doing it. If we do it with them at the 9th hour, we're technically doing it in the 8th hour. Can that work? Yeah, but if we mention it out, everybody on the East Coast, everybody on Eastern Standard Time, do it your 2 p.m., which will be our 1 p.m. We got to wait an hour later, and then everybody on Central Standard Time. At least we in the hour of prayer. We can't make adjustments like that unless we just call for an hour of prayer and just say, let's just do it at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have to give it a time zone, and you adjust yours. But if we're going to do it on an hour of prayer, the most powerful time to pray, all times is good, but the 9th hour is called the hour of prayer. You know, like the pool of Shiloh, it was a certain time that the waters would move, and you push people in it and they be healed whole, but you had to wait till that hour hit. So y'all, we just wanted to put that out there. Thank you, Emo, for having that. So y'all keep it on my mind to make sure I mention it to Jake tomorrow, that what Emo's request is, and if she get a chance to call in, y'all, because this thing, we do need to come together like they did in the book of Nineveh and pray. Y'all, we're not praying or trying to pray it away. What we're praying for is safety. That this plague don't overpower us, y'all, because it done hit everybody in somebody's family. At least they got it.
I got a cousin.
You know, and this thing is hitting. It looks like it's tailing off, but it's hitting. You got friends. Look, my sister just had a retirement party in the middle of February. Couple there having a good time, dancing, you know, wishing well wishes and condole, you know, not condolences, but well wishes to the retired. All of that going on, and he died 2 days ago, and she in intensive care. Just a month and a half ago. It's actually will be 2 months on the 16th of this month. And he gone. That quick, y'all. And not saying to blame it on anybody, y'all. And let me just say this: we're gonna close out the 5G. Y'all, if you don't bring the CERN into this and where the internet was created, you have to go back to the beginning on this. You can't tie this up in the middle and try to figure it out. It's starting in CERN, Switzerland. That's where the internet started. That's where 1G started. So it's the same thing. They'll open up portals. They're marking portals. Where they have CERN is where angels fail, the fallen angels fail. That same location they setting up because it was a marker there. They're like, damn, here it is right here. Just like Jacob and them set up pillars, the markers are there that a portal opened up. And you see the ladder. A portal opened up when Saul went to the witch of Endor. Because the witch jumped back. She's like, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. I see angels descending and ascending. She saw the same thing. She opened up a portal, but the Most High sent Samson down there and say he prophesied from the grave. He told Saul, boy, I told you, boy, you needed to, boy, you crazy as hell. Now you done woke me up and you doing it. A lot of people say that's a demon, but when you get into the book of Sirach, it calls Samuel to be wakened from his sleep. And it's a vision, y'all, remembering this. And he pronounced judgment on Saul so-called from the grave, because a portal was open. It wasn't just a witch of Endor was playing around. She was shook like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost when she finally heard the voice. I've been playing around. I heard, don't y'all hear? They're like, we don't hear nothing. Same way with the witch of Endor. Y'all, so we have to understand it's a supernatural world, y'all. And when y'all say, the dead don't know nothing about what's going on over here. Look, it says the dead will never have any other life on this side of the sun to the resurrection. Samuel didn't come back on earth and prophesy that. A portal opened. And he sent a message just like Luke 16. When Abraham said they got Moses and the prophets to tell them what's happening. But if I can go back to, they have consciousness in the grave, but there's no repentance. That don't mean there's no life in the grave. They just can't take care of what's going on this side. No, he can't ask permission to come watch you play in the game. Because they done made you the starting center. No part, no more on this side. So it was a vision. Samuel put on Saul and prophesied his death from the grave. And Sirach backs that up. So where we at, y'all? That's it? Okay. Let's get it on.
All right. Instead of that 44, we do 79. It's
Yeah.
pretty much same subject matter.
Same subject matter, yes, sir.
We'll get this closing prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, and our uncrowned King, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach.
Let me say this again, too, before we go. Anybody that purchased Passover tickets will refund your money. For any of y'all that you need your money, I understand you need your money. We'll get it back to you. Anybody online that sent money in to me, just holler at me through email. I'll make sure you get it back if that's what you request. And ASAP. Go ahead, brother.
You're going to be reading in the book of Psalms. In the 79th chapter, it reads, O Yah, the heathen are coming to thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. The dead bodies of thy servants have they given to be meat unto the fowls of the heaven. The flesh of thy saints unto the beast of the earth. Their blood have they shed like water round about Jerusalem, and there is none to bury them. We are become a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us. How long, Yahweh, wilt thou be angry forever? Shall thy jealousy burn like fire? Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. For they have devoured Jacob, and laid waste his dwelling place. O remember not against us former iniquities. Let thy tender mercies speedily prevent us, for we are brought very low. Help us, O Elohim of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us, and purge away our sins for thy name's sake. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is their God? Let him be known among the heathen in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants which is shed. Let the sighing of the prisoner come before thee. According to the greatness of thy power, preserve thou those that are appointed to die. And render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, wherewith they have reproached thee, O Yahweh. So we, thy people, and sheep of thy pasture, will give thee thanks forever. We will show forth thy praise to all generations.
Hallelujah! Selah! Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
Thank y'all for y'all continued support, y'all. Everybody that assist us in these ministry, y'all. One love to all of y'all.
Yes, sir. Gets really quiet in here now.
Yeah.